Chapter 654. She had thought that as long as Wang Lan left the Wei family, the remaining forces of the Wei family would be able to capture him easily. She didn't know that the Heavenly Sword Bureau had such a powerful warrior other than Wang Lan. She was confident that she could defeat Jiang Xinyu if there was no time limit. But time was what she needed the most. Clearly, Jiang Xinyu was using the delaying tactic. Jiang Xinyu hadn't had a chance to confront the mysterious warrior since the beginning. Even though the mysterious warrior had doubled his speed and strength, Jiang Xinyu was still able to deal with him steadily. The number of Jiang Xinyu in the sky was dwindling, but the attacks never stopped. Seeing that he still couldn't defeat Jiang Xinyu, the mysterious warrior dashed to the sky. The light around him suddenly became brighter, as if another sun was hanging in the sky. Horrifying astral powers swept over. Jiang Xinyu turned pale. The mysterious warrior had finally decided to use the Takashi Hoshi skill to destroy the Wei family. Jiang Xinyu was able to fight against the mysterious master without losing, but she was unable to withstand the bombardment of absolute power. The surge of astral powers alone was enough to force Jiang Xinyu to step back. The Wei family members on the ground turned ghastly pale. Who could survive such a horrifying attack? Not even the two title battle pet warriors could survive, not to mention those who hadn't awakened the Takashi Hoshi skill. Lord Jiang, save us, Wei Wuji screamed in a shrill voice. If it were within her power, Jiang Xinyu would have stopped the attack to save the Wei family. But the power of this attack had already exceeded the limits of what Jiang Xinyu could endure. To block this attack, she would have to take the risk of being killed. You are not Wang Lan. Why should Jiang Xinyu risk her life for you? Boom! A horrifying ball of energy appeared in the sky. It was as big as a wheel, even though it was hundreds of meters in the air. As the ball of energy fell, it became bigger and bigger. Gradually, it turned into an asteroid with a diameter of nearly 100 meters. Not to mention the terrifying power of the explosion of the energy ball. Even if it didn't explode and was solid, it would be enough to annihilate the Wei clan. Suddenly, there was a distortion in space, and the terrifying energy ball that was about to land on the ground instantly disappeared. It was as if its appearance was just a dream, an illusion. This is a silver figure appeared on top of everyone's head, the silver cloak fluttering in the wind. The Phoenix Saint robe reflected a gorgeous light under the sunlight. Wang Lan had appeared without warning, and mysterious expert's attack had also disappeared without warning. Suddenly, the space around Wang Lan distorted slightly, and his figure disappeared in a flash. The mysterious man in the sky hurriedly retreated, but he didn't expect Wang Lan to appear at the place where he retreated. The mysterious man's eyes turned cold. He had long heard that Wang Lan was a top-notch expert in the world. There were even rumors that he had surpassed the level of the 5 emperors. Today, he would test whether the legendary Wang Lan was worthy of being the #1 expert in the world. A fist, like a flash of light, fiercely blasted toward Wang Lan's chest. Wang Lan stood in the void and didn't dodge, allowing the other party to punch him. Seeing that Wang Lan was so arrogant, the mysterious expert was furious, but at the same time, he also started to look down on him. To be so arrogant, it seemed that Wang Lan was nothing more than this. A true expert would never make the mistake of underestimating the enemy, because anyone with such an attitude would never be able to complete that step of transformation to become a top-notch expert. The stronger one was, the more reverence they would have for heaven and earth. When facing an enemy they didn't understand, they would cautiously probe the situation and plan before taking action. You don't even know how powerful my punch is, yet you dare to take it so carelessly? You're courting death. Thinking up to this point, the mysterious expert's fist had already reached Wang Lan's chest. At this moment, Wang Lan didn't even have the slightest intention of dodging. Go to hell! A sharp female voice burst out, and the fist hit Wang Lan's chest hard. Then, the fist seemed to hit an illusion, penetrating Wang Lan's body. The mysterious expert's eyes were full of astonishment. He watched in surprise as his body seemed to pass through the illusion, overlapping with Wang Lan's body, and then intertwining. Illusion doppelganger? Impossible. The fluctuation of the star power and the source of the momentum are correct. It can't be an illusion. Just as this thought came to his mind, boom, with a loud bang, the mysterious expert felt a terrifying impact coming from behind him. Wang Lan's body flipped in the air, and a fist with terrifying power bombarded the mysterious expert's back. The mysterious expert suddenly opened his mouth and spat out a mouthful of blood. His round eyes were full of horror. His body fell from the sky like a bolt of lightning, and with a boom, he hit the ground hard. The ground cracked, and gravel shot into the air. Where the mysterious expert landed, a huge pit with a diameter of 10 meters appeared. At the same time, Wang Lan's body chased down fiercely like a beam of light. The mysterious expert didn't care about the injury on his body. His figure flashed and disappeared in the pit. Boom! The huge pit that was smashed out doubled in size again. Wang Lan's punch had created a terrifying second huge pit, and the mysterious expert hiding in the air suddenly narrowed her eyes. In just one confrontation, she was injured by Wang Lan. The mysterious expert, who had never tasted defeat since learning the astral source, knew for the first time what suffocating strength was, and how powerful it was that made people despair. At this moment, the mysterious expert only had one thought left in his mind, and that was to run. With a thought, his figure disappeared in an instant. But the mysterious expert's escape method was only high-speed movement. Compared to Wang Lan, who could move through space, it was too slow no matter how fast he was. In a flash, Wang Lan's silver figure appeared in front of the mysterious expert. In an instant, his heart sank to the bottom. The mysterious expert gritted his teeth. His figure flashed and transformed into several streams of light, running in different directions. But suddenly, he was horrified to find that the space was distorted. No matter how fast he escaped, his figure seemed to be pulled back by some kind of spatial power. The mysterious expert suddenly turned back, only to see a pair of cold eyes. This was a pair of eyes he had never seen or heard of before. In the pupils, a black pinwheel slowly rotated. It was as if it had turned into a black hole, rapidly devouring space. The four figures were all imprisoned by space. They became smaller and smaller, distorted in space, and then disappeared into the black hole. Then, the space continued to distort, twisting Wang Lan's body into a sealed ring. Then, he completely disappeared. The sky was clear and bright. Wei Wuji and the others looked at the sky with a dumbfounded expression. They could still understand the previous battle, but ever since Wang Lan came, they could no longer understand the battle. Where is this place? A beautiful and mature woman stood on the undulating sea, looking at the sky with a puzzled expression. At this time, the mysterious expert was no longer a human figure woven by light. Instead, she was a sexy and enchanting woman wearing a white tights. "This is my world." A voice sounded from behind. The woman was startled and retreated in a flash. She didn't know when Wang Lan had appeared and looked at Wang Lan with fear. Wearing the phoenix holy garment that covered 90% of the area, Wang Lan's temperament had been pushed to an unimaginable height. Anyone who saw this side of Wang Lan couldn't help but exclaim from the bottom of their hearts. He was so handsome, the kind that was out of this world. "Don't be on guard. This is my world. You are no match for me outside, and even less so here," Wang Lan said indifferently. He reached out his hand and snapped his fingers. With a snap, the surrounding sea turned into a beach, and a sofa appeared beside the woman. "Please sit. Let's have a good chat. I, who cultivated the astral body source, originally thought that my strength should be at the peak. At least, I wouldn't be weaker than anyone. Now, it seems that I was just a frog at the bottom of a well. In front of the legendary you, I couldn't even take one move. Don't be too sad. There are only two people in the world who can take one move from me. What do you want to drink? No need. Ask whatever you want to know. Anyway, in their eyes, I should be dead already, right? Dumb? Who? Birds of Paradise. You are also a member of Birds of Paradise. I was adopted by Birds of Paradise when I was 4 years old. It wouldn't be wrong to say that I'm a member of Birds of Paradise. I remember that the United Nations has a saying, if you see a terrorist organization from Birds of Paradise, kill them without hesitation. No, the premise is that they deserve to be killed. Since you are a member of Birds of Paradise, then what is your goal? What are your plans? I don't know. HM? Wang Lan's expression froze. Then he suddenly laughed softly. Seeing your attitude before, I thought that you would be willing to cooperate. Now, it seems that I was still naive. With your strength, you should be a high-ranking member of Birds of Paradise, right? You're telling me that you don't know? I'm a person who drifts outside of Birds of Paradise. They never let me come into contact with any information related to Birds of Paradise. They also never let me carry out any missions. For 20 years, my only mission was to cultivate, become stronger, and master the astral body source. That's all. That's all. It has only been a month and a half since I completely mastered the astral body source. What have you done for Birds of Paradise? A year ago, I was ordered to inject the astral body source's star power into a youth's body. After that, I didn't do anything else. By Xiaoyu, I don't know his name. And then? Why did you kill the 4 great Takashi Hoshi families of Huzhou province? Don't tell me that wasn't your mission? No, I killed them for revenge. Revenge. My name is Zhang Xianchao, the Zhang family's gravekeeper. Our family has guarded the secret of ancestral Master Zhang Lingxian's inheritance for generations and concealed our identities. However, we didn't expect that 20 years ago, we would be discovered by a group of grave robbers. According to the family's rules, anyone who discovers our secret must be exterminated by their roots. However, back then, my mother was soft-hearted and let youth go. Because of this youth, my family suffered a calamity. The 4 great families. It wasn't just the 4 great families. There were a total of 36 people, and the 4 great families were only half of the power. In order to steal the astral body source, they used ordinary people to extort confessions and cruelly killed more than 300 people in our family. They didn't even spare the old, weak, women, or children. So, you want to exterminate the 4 great families? You didn't even spare the old, weak, women, or children. Confucius said, if you repay evil with kindness, how should you repay kindness? If you repay kindness with kindness, how should you complain? They slaughter my family, so I slaughtered theirs. Is that wrong? Chapter 655. If you want to use your personal grudges to decide right and wrong, then what's the use of national law? National law? My family was massacred, but the national law defines my family as a heretical family. The 4 great families that massacred my family have become heroes who vanquished the heretical path? Is this the national law that you speak of? Your family was harmed, so I will give you justice. However, you massacred 3 families and killed thousands of people, so the national law won't spare you. Tell me everything you know. I already died 20 years ago. All these years, the only thing I've been living for is revenge. I know that you're one of the strongest people in the Jade State who keeps your word. If you can give my family justice, I'm willing to tell you the real reason why the Birds of Paradise are in Huzhou province. Wang Lan frowned slightly. I don't like to bargain. Compared to making you tell me, I prefer to use a mental imprint. The astral origin art is an immortal technique. I guarantee that you won't be able to imprint anything. Furthermore, I can't decide my fate, but I can decide my death. You can defeat me, but you can't stop me from dying. Wang Lan looked seriously at Zhang Xianchao. After a long time, he nodded. All right. As he spoke, his figure distorted and he disappeared. The void distorted, and Wang Lan's figure appeared from the distortion. As soon as he appeared, a large group of people rushed over. Greedy Wolf, where's that demon? Wei Wuji asked anxiously. Mr. Wei, you seem to be in a hurry. Could it be that you've taken a fancy to his astral origin art? Wang Lan asked indifferently. This, I wouldn't dare. According to legend, the astral origin art was created by Zhang Lingxian. It's a Takashi Hoshi technique that can be cultivated to become an immortal. That demon is probably the only person in the world who has mastered the astral origin art. It would be a pity if such a powerful Takashi Hoshi technique became a swan song. Mr. Wei, can we talk in the living room? Sure, please. Wang Lan held Jiang Sinyu's hand and entered the Wei family's living room. Wei Wuji and two other titled experts were still there. The attacker is called Zhang Xianxiao. She claims to be one of Zhang Lingxian's tomb guardians. From her mouth, he also learned some things that happened 20 years ago. Mr. Wei, I advise you not to hide anything from us. Otherwise, the Heavenly Sword Bureau and I will not interfere in your affairs. This isn't good, is it? The Heavenly Sword Bureau can't just stand by and do nothing, right? The Heavenly Sword Bureau does have the responsibility to maintain the stability of the jurisdiction and deal with Takashi Hoshi, who have committed crimes. But I think I still have the right to order the Heavenly Sword Bureau not to intervene. My principle is that if you have a personal grudge, go away and deal with it yourself. If you want the Heavenly Sword Bureau to uphold justice, that's fine too. You'll have to clear up your grievances. What? Back then, the Wei clan had slaughtered their entire clan. Now, they were not allowed to avenge their clansmen. I really have no reason to help you. Your Majesty, greedy wolf. This is a misunderstanding. This is really just a misunderstanding. We didn't know about it first. Wei Wuji hurriedly waved his hands. 20 years ago, a tomb raiding clan obtained information about the tomb guardians from an ancient tomb. The tomb raiding clan tried to steal Zhang Lingxian's inheritance, but they underestimated the tomb guardian clan's strength. The tomb raiding clan was completely defeated, and only a young man survived. After the young man escaped, he lied and said that the tomb guardian clan was an ancient evil cult. They used living people as sacrifices and had been refining zombie puppets. At that time, apart from the 4 great Takashi Hoshi clans, there were 20 other Takashi Hoshi experts. One of them was the former director of the Heavenly Sword Bureau, unravel. We followed the young man and happened to see them performing some sort of strange sacrifice. We thought they were really an evil cult. Later, we found out that the Tomb Guardian clan had their own set of customs. Since the mistake was made, we have been hoping to find a descendant of the Zhang clan to compensate for it. I really don't know how thick-skinned you are to say such shameless things. Wang Lan couldn't take it anymore. Have you been looking for a descendant of the Zhang clan all these years to compensate them? You were clearly thinking about Zhang Lingxian's inheritance, okay? Moreover, you used the Tomb Guardian clan as an innocent person to force Zhang Lingxian to reveal the secret of her inheritance, and you shamelessly said that it was a misunderstanding. I'll ask you one more time, and for the last time. Back then, you knew they were the Tomb Guardian clan, and you were after the secret of Zhang Lingxian's inheritance, right? Wei Wuji opened his mouth, but he couldn't say anything under Wang Lan's gaze. Who else was involved back then and knew about it? Tell us everything. It's been 20 years. A titled expert said hurriedly. That's right, the Tomb Guardian clan. Hundreds of innocent lives have been waiting for 20 years for justice to come too late. Hand over the Wei clan's Qilin Jade token, Wang Lan said calmly. If it were anyone else, it would be impossible for the Wei clan to hand over the Qilin Jade token. If it were anyone else, it would be impossible for a 1,000-year-old family to admit their guilt. But Wang Lan could. After witnessing Wang Lan's godlike strength and considering the Wei clan's power, Wei Wuji didn't hesitate for long and obediently handed over the Qilin Jade token. I'm the only one in the Wei clan who knows about this. I'll take all the blame. But that descendant of the Zhang clan wiped out the Qi, Zhao, and Han families. He killed 10 times more people than we did back then. His sins are 100 times heavier than mine. The judge will decide how serious her crimes are. Wang Lan took out his phone and dialed a number. Director Liu, send some men to the Wei clan's residence and bring some prison vans over. Then, Wang Lan dialed another number. Mr. Jin, where's the former director of the Huzhou Heavenly Sword Bureau, Ren Ruffeng? He's retired. What's wrong with him? He's seriously breaking the law. Take him under control. Okay. Wei Wuji's expression changed. Even the former director of the Heavenly Sword Bureau was taken under control. Wang Lan was serious. Shouldn't things go according to the wind? It had already been 20 years. For a descendant of the birds of paradise who had already defected to them, he was actually going to move so many old people. Lord Greed. Although most of the people back then died on the spot, there were still a few who survived. They didn't stay in the same place for the past 20 years. Some have already become famous, while others have disciples and old officials all over the place. Are you trying to tell me that big things are small and small? A sunny smile appeared on Wang Lan's face. That means you don't know me well enough. Smoothing things over has never been my Wang Lan style. Right and wrong always have to be sorted out. The Heavenly Sword Bureau did things very quickly with Wang Lan's personal instructions. Unravel and a group of people who had participated in the massacre of the Gravekeeper clan were all brought to the Takashi Hoshi court for trial. The scene of Liu Yusin suppressing his old superior, Unravel, had a great impact on his life, left a deep impression on Wang Lan. It was also at this moment that Wang Lan realized for the first time how much power he had. Although he hadn't held any positions and hadn't really cultivated any trusted forces, he could make all the mysterious departments in the country operate at the same time with just one sentence. And these people who had always held great power, many of them were already second-grade officials. However, after knowing that Wang Lan was personally leading them, they all gave up resisting. He was so strong that his enemies gave up resisting when they heard his name. This might be what it meant to be truly invincible. As for evidence, it was even easier to deal with. Wei Wuji had already spoken, and Rin Rufeng had also gotten over the years. Since the two of them had spoken, the remaining 5 people didn't hide anything. One sentence could summarize their lives. A single slip would cause everlasting sorrow, and when they looked back, 100 years had passed. Each of the 7 people had lived a life worthy of being called a hero. They had shed blood for the country and made contributions to society. But contributions were contributions, and mistakes were mistakes. In order to obtain the secret of Zhang Lingxian's inheritance, they had cruelly massacred an entire clan. They had killed more than 300 members of the Gravekeeper clan, not even sparing the infant. Becoming a Buddha or a demon was just a matter of thought. If Zhang Xianchao hadn't been born with twin bloodlines, he would have died back then. The law treated everyone equally. It was impossible to offset one's sins just because of one's past contributions. The rewards for meritorious deeds had already been given, but the consequences of one's mistakes had to be borne 20 years later. Shunwei's space by the quiet lake. Wang Lan and Jiang Xinyu slowly walked behind Zhang Xianchao. The people who participated in the massacre of your family have all been tried. Other than 2 people who were sentenced to life imprisonment, the rest were all sentenced to death. Those 2 didn't kill anyone, but they participated in the siege of my grandfather. If those people from the Qi family hadn't held a knife to my clansmen's necks and distracted my grandfather could have killed them all by himself. Are you satisfied with this result? Sigh. Zhang Xianchao let out a long sigh. My clansmen can finally rest in peace. What's the Birds of Paradise's goal? Do you know Waihu Province was the holy land of ancient Qi refinement masters? Why did ancient Qi refinement masters like Hu Province so much? I don't know. Because this is where Goddess Hutu reincarnated. It's also where Goddess Hutu's divine land is. In the ancient times, Goddess Hutu's divine palace was here. Oh, in the ancient times, Goddess Hutu once joined forces with the other lords to kill 20 demon gods here. The blood of the demon gods dyed the sky and gathered to form a blood pool. The blood pool's murderous aura soared into the sky, containing the resentment and anger of the demon gods. In the end, it was sealed in the void by Goddess Hutu. The Birds of Paradise have been searching for almost 500 years in Hu Province. They originally thought it was just a wish that could never be fulfilled, but they didn't expect to find it successfully 2 years ago. 2 years ago, yes, 2 years ago, an alternate dimension suddenly appeared. However, there were no mutated beasts in this alternate dimension. Only a red mist was emitted from it. Once people come into contact with it, they will go crazy. The blood mist kept spreading and was about to threaten the safety of the people nearby. The Heavenly Sword Bureau immediately rushed into the alternate dimension and successfully closed it. At this time, The birds of paradise also sneaked in and confirmed that this alternate dimension was the demon god blood pool. Since the alternate dimension has been closed, if it's closed, it can be reopened as long as the coordinates are left behind. However, I don't know where this alternate dimension that has been reopened is. After all, I'm only a human. This is the demon's top secret. I don't have a right to know. Chapter 656. You still know you're a human? Wang Lan sneered. You're a human, yet you're willing to betray the human race and become the demon's lackey. My grandfather, parents, an entire clan were killed by the human race. It was the demons who saved me and raised me. How could I not betray the human race? The human race destroyed my family, and I even had to bear the stigma of being a cult. What right do you have to accuse me of betrayal? You didn't feel my pain, so what right do you have to tell me about the righteousness of the human race? Wang Lan silently looked at Zhang Xianchao, his eyes flashing, but he didn't say a word for a long time. And then, what did they want the demon god's blood for? Of course it was to revive the demon god. Demons are a ranked race. Low-ranked demons can't bear the blood of high-ranked demons, let alone the demon god's blood. Even the noblest demons can't bear it. Only when the body reaches an extremely high level can it bear it. The celestial body source is a cultivation technique that cultivates the body to the extreme. The celestial body source is the only cultivation technique in the world that can cultivate the body to the immortal realm. The demons promised me that as long as I completed my revenge, I would enter the blood pool to bear the power of the demon god's blood. Originally, after you went to the Han family, it would be my last revenge, but I didn't expect you to come back so quickly. My plan for revenge has failed. I'm very curious. How did the demons let you be so willful? They even promised you that they would only bear the power of the demon god's blood after you completed your revenge? Bearing the demon god's blood requires one to accept it. If one's heart is against it, they won't be able to complete the inheritance of the demon god's power. I already have nothing to worry about. Besides revenge, there's nothing else worth worrying about. What happened to Wen Xianghua's death? Of course, it was also planned by the birds of paradise. I poured the celestial body source into the youth's body, and the demons used Wen Xianghua's need for the celestial body source to design a perfect killing plot. But now, it seems like no one can fool you. I know that Wen Xianghua's death was planned by the bird of paradise, but I want to know, why did they plan to kill Wen Xianghua? I don't know about that. I don't care about anything else other than cultivating the astral body. They never let me ask about it. Did you know that Wen Xianghua is Zhang Ling, Xian's descendant? What? Zhang Xiancao's eyes widened in disbelief. There are still descendants of the Zhang family alive? You really don't know? Ha! Ha ha! How laughable, how ironic. Wen Xianghua is actually a descendant of the Zhang clan. Since he is a descendant of the Zhang clan, why is he scheming to obtain something that originally belonged to the Zhang clan? For something that should have belonged to him, he was set up and killed by others. It's really amazing. Aren't you? We're just Zhang Lingxian's tomb keepers. Although our surname is Zhang, we don't have the Zhang family's bloodline. The Zhang family disappeared in the river of history 1,000 years ago. For 1,000 years, we've been guarding the Qilin Jade token that only the Zhang family's bloodline can open. We thought that the Zhang family had been completely wiped out and that no one could inherit Zhang Ling Xian's legacy. What would you do if you knew that Wen Xianghua was a member of the Zhang family? Wang Lan asked curiously. Of course, I'd given the thing that we've been guarding for 2,000 years. After 2,000 years, our clan has long since grown tired. The Qilin Jade token has been protected by the 4 great clans for the past 20 years. However, it would be easy for me to take back the Qilin Jade token. If I knew that there were still descendants of the Zhang family alive, I wouldn't have given the 3 Qilin Jade tokens to the birds of heaven. And now you've given the 3 Qilin Jade tokens to the birds of heaven? Yes, they wanted it, so I gave it to them. After all, without the Zhang family's bloodline, no one can open the Qilin Jade tokens. Where's the birds of heaven's base? Wang Lan asked. At Cloud Top Mountain, but from the moment I was defeated by you, they should have already left. There's nothing there now. Wang Lan came out of the god's domain and immediately brought the Heavenly Sword Bureau brothers to Cloud Top Mountain. They had indeed found traces of the demon's base on Cloud Top Mountain, but there was nothing left. Everything that could be taken away had been taken away, and everything that couldn't be taken away had been destroyed. However, just based on the size of the base, the number of Birds of Heaven spies was not small. I didn't expect such a large demon spy organization to be hidden in Huzhou province. Director Liu, you should reflect on your actions, Wang Lan said in a low voice. Yes. It's my fault for not doing my job well. Liu Yusin was sweating profusely and kept wiping it with a handkerchief. The Heavenly Sword Bureau's campaign against the demon spies had lasted for 3 whole years. In these 3 years, the Heavenly Sword Bureau of each province had achieved remarkable results. Especially the Heavenly Sword Bureau of the Jiang province. They had almost uprooted the demon spy network. The number of demon spies in Huzhou was considered small compared to the other provinces. In the past, it could be explained by the fact that there were very few demon spies in Huzhou. But now, where was the lack of spies? The Heavenly Sword Bureau was completely infiltrated by the spies. How's the investigation of the 4 spies coming along? Wang Lan asked Liu Yusin. It's still under investigation. Based on their resumes, their changes started 2 years ago. 2 years ago, the 4 of them didn't have any obvious interactions. But 2 years ago, the 4 of them started to team up frequently. Then, they simply formed an independent operation team. They were probably devoured by the demons at that time. Find their operation records for the past 2 years. I want to review them again. When he returned to the Heavenly Sword Bureau, the information of the 4 spies had already been sent to the headquarters and landed on Wang Lan's desk. This overturning of the case that shook the entire country only lasted for a day. After a day, it was as if it had returned to the past, and no one cared about it anymore. Wang Lan flipped through the operation reports of the 4 spies for the past 2 years page by page. The records did not show any abnormalities. They were all carrying out their missions under a strict Celestial Sword special service. Closing the alternate dimension, cracking down on Takashi Hoshi criminals, cracking down on illegal Takashi Hoshi criminals, and shutting down illegal criminal channels. Anyway, as long as it was not effective in finding the demon spies, it did other work better than the other Heavenly Sword Bureau. But suddenly, Wang Lan's fingers paused. There was a mission record in front of him. This mission record was the one that Zhang Xianchao had told him about. It was a record of the alternate dimension where the blood pool was sealed. 2 years ago, the alternate dimension suddenly opened. The red poisonous fog inside quickly spread, and this poisonous fog was not any known Takashi Hoshi poison. Even the Takashi Hoshi poison analyzer could not analyze its structure. Anyone who inhaled this poison would become crazy and cruel, but the Takashi Hoshi could resist it for a longer time. In order to protect the people in the city from being harmed by the poisonous fog, the Heavenly Sword Bureau immediately formed a suicide squad. A total of 50 people forced their way into the alternate dimension. They originally thought that this squad would all die in the alternate dimension, but to their surprise, 20 people successfully evacuated from it in the end. There were no exotic beasts in the alternate dimension, which made it much easier for them to close the alternate dimension. Among these 20 people, 4 demon spies were among them. Moreover, the 4 of them had not interacted closely at that time. It could be said that the 4 of them began to interact closely after that one time. Give me the list of the brothers who returned successfully from that mission. Also, check if the people on the list have any close interactions with each other within the past 2 years. Yes. An hour later, the list of the 20 brothers who returned alive 2 years ago was released. After grouping and matching, it was discovered that these 20 people either became lovers, best friends, or brothers. Everyone formed a circle, and one person in this circle suddenly entered Wang Lan's field of vision. The head of the intelligence department, Li Minyu, at the headquarters of the Heavenly Sword Bureau in Huzhou. The person who led the operation back then was Li Minyu. Li Minyu used to be known as the third daredevil, always taking the lead in every mission. That time, he rushed into the dangerous alternate dimension with the determination to die. Unexpectedly, he returned successfully. Since then, Li Minyu rarely led the charge personally. It was as if the Li Minyu who was unafraid of death had stayed in that blood-red alternate dimension forever. In fact, Li Minyu had indeed stayed in that alternate dimension. Wang Lan tapped the list lightly, his eyes flashing. After a long time, Wang Lan suddenly raised his head. I understand now. What did you think of this time? Jiang Xinyu glanced over and asked while looking at the list in Wang Lan's hand. I understand why they killed one Xianghua. Wang Lan pointed at Li Minyu's name and said, to make way for this person. He's a demon's spy? It's not just him. The 20 brothers who came back 2 years ago were all demon spies. The Suicide Squad back then was a real Suicide Squad. No one came back alive. They were all sacrificed. Wang Lan said, as he stood up, arrest the people on the list. I'll arrest Li Minyu personally. Li Minyu was off today, so he did not come to work at the Heavenly Sword Bureau. Wang Lan personally went to Li Minyu's room and knocked on the door. Soon, footsteps were heard from inside. Li Minyu looked through the peephole and quickly opened the door. General Wang, why are you here? Li Minyu said with a flattered expression. I have some questions to ask you. You're off today, so I came here personally. How can I? If you want to ask me something, just call me over, Li Minyu said as he untied his apron. Are you cooking? Yes, I don't have anywhere to go when I'm off. Usually, I read books and drink tea. Then, I make myself some food to reward myself. Does Li Chu live alone? Haven't you thought of finding another one after so many years? Sigh. Li Minyu sighed deeply. His expression was complicated. Li Minyu had a wife in his early years. His wife was also a member of the Celestial Sword Special Service, but she died in a mission. Perhaps it was because of his guilt over his wife's death. But from then on, Li Minyu personally led the team and put himself in the most dangerous position for any mission. I'm used to being alone. Li Chu is a hero. Those who grew up with Li Chu all said that they would be at ease if they followed Li Chu because he would always leave danger to himself. Until he died on the battlefield. It was admirable and admirable. As he spoke, he came to the wedding photo in the living room and bowed deeply. This scene made Li Minyu's expression become complicated. He did not understand the meaning of Wang Lan's words. Was it a curse or a compliment? A heroic martyr should not be desecrated, even by the enemy. Am I right? I don't understand what General Wang is saying. How did the Suicide Squad die 2 years ago? Chapter 657. The Suicide Squad from 2 years ago. You're talking about that mission, right? The red mist was a very special Takashi Hoshi poison. It wouldn't cause a poisoning reaction, but it would corrode a person's soul. The brothers who inhaled the red mist were all demonized by the baleful aura. They lost their minds and attacked the living things around them. We had no choice but to kill the brothers who had gone crazy. When we rushed to the spatial node, there were less than 30 brothers left. Less than 30? Wang Lan sighed softly. They should have been completely wiped out, right? When they went in, Li Minyu was Li Minyu. When they came out, Li Minyu was no longer Li Minyu. Am I right? Li Minyu's expression changed greatly. He instantly turned into a stream of light and rushed to the window. But as if he had hit an invisible wall, he flew back fiercely. Looking at Wang Lan with a smile that wasn't a smile, Li Minyu's body suddenly exploded, revealing his true appearance. He was more than 2 meters tall and emitted the aura of an elite demon with strength above the Star Sea realm. Wang Lan, I really fell into your hands. In front of me, it's best if you don't take any chances. Tell me, where is your base? Roar. With a roar, the demon spy's figure shot out and instantly rushed in front of Wang Lan. Since I can't escape, I'll fight it out with you. Crack! With a light sound, Li Minyu's movements froze in front of Wang Lan. Wang Lan stepped forward and arrived in front of the spy. In front of me, do you still have a need to resist? He reached out and gently pressed on Li Minyu's head. But in an instant, Wang Lan's expression suddenly changed. Boom! Li Minyu's head exploded with a loud bang. Green blood and disgusting mucus splattered all over the room. I didn't expect you to be so ruthless. When did you even engrave tactics on the demons' heads? The birds of paradise traders were engraved with tactics to prevent information from leaking out, but as far as Wang Lan knew, the demon spies did not have tactics. Perhaps the demon spy also realized that the determination of the demons was no longer safe. The humans already had Wang Lan, an existence who could instantly subdue the demons without even having the chance to self-destruct. In order to prevent the information from leaking out, the imprinting technique. After dealing with Li Minyu here, the Heavenly Sword Bureau's headquarters suddenly became jittery at the slightest movement. One by one, members of the Celestial Sword Special Service were secretly arrested. The problem was that Lu Yusin did not know anything about it. What happened? I heard that Section Chief Shun was taken away. I don't know. Someone from the operations department caught him. Could it be that the operations department is really going to shed all pretense of cordiality? Impossible. Without Bureau Chief Wen's support, how could the operations department dare to act rashly? How dare you arrest him in front of Director Liu? They must have received orders from above. Whose orders could it be? I thought even Chief Liu didn't know about it. Then it can only be an order from Greedy Wolf. No matter how the arrested people refuted or complained, the people from the operations department coldly and mercilessly arrested all of them and detained them. Because they were arrested in different places and detained in different places, those who were arrested did not know that others were also arrested. Therefore, no one directly exposed themselves. They still tried to play the emotional card by claiming that they were innocent. They were all brothers who had gone through life and death together. Many of the special service members felt that if they were not together, they would be intimately interdependent. Zhonglin, what's going on? Who ordered you to arrest people? Lu Yusin could not sit still. Arresting 16 people at once was not a small operation. Director, General Wang ordered us to arrest people according to the list. List? What list? Lu Yusin took the list and glanced at it. He frowned. What's wrong with them? They are all demon spies who infiltrated the Heavenly Sword Bureau. Wang Lan's voice rang out. He appeared in front of Lu Yusin from a distortion of space. Demon spies? There are so many of them? Lu Yusin's face turned pale. It was not just one or two, but a total of 16. Including the 4 he killed earlier, there were 20 of them. There were 20 demon spies in the Heavenly Sword Bureau. It was enough for Lu Yusin's lifetime of achievements to hit the bottom. You know a lot. The demons almost took control of the Heavenly Sword Bureau. Do you know who killed Wen Xianghua? Who? Li Minyu. What? Li Minyu was Lu Yusin's trusted subordinate who had been promoted by him. He was also Lu Yusin's most capable general. If you asked who was the best at fighting in the Heavenly Sword Bureau, it might not be Li Minyu. However, if you asked who was the most reckless in fighting, it would definitely be Li Minyu. If it were not for his absolute trust in Li Minyu, why would he put Li Minyu in the most powerful intelligence department of the Heavenly Sword Bureau? Li Minyu planned to get rid of Wen Xianghua. You should know what his next step is, right? Lu Yusin thought for a bit and understood. Cold sweat immediately poured down. Li Minyu wanted to take Wen Xianghua's position. Then, his next step would be to take his position as the bureau chief. A demon spy almost became the head of a province's Heavenly Sword Bureau. What a joke. At this point, the mystery of Wen Xianghua's death was finally revealed. However, Wang Lan could not go back and report. The blood pool left behind by the demon's blood had appeared in Huzhou province. The demons were planning to use the blood to create another demon god. How could Wang Lan leave? However, Zhang Xianchao did not know where the demon pool was. She also did not know where the demon spies were hiding. The only information Zhang Xianji could provide was that there were more than 100 demon spies. Although these demon spies were a branch of the Birds of Paradise, they had no contact with the Birds of Paradise. Even the Birds of Paradise headquarters did not know of the existence of this branch. General Wang. This was found in Li Minyu's house. The head of the evidence department respectfully placed a wooden box in front of Wang Lan. What is it? Qilin jade pendant. Oh. Wang Lan hurriedly put down his teacup. A few wolfberries rose and fell in the teacup. Opening the wooden box, 3 Qilin jade pendants lay inside. Bring Wentao to the Heavenly Sword Bureau. I want to see what Zhang Lingxian left behind. In less than an hour, Wentao was brought to the headquarters by his brothers from the Heavenly Sword Bureau. After drawing 4 vials of blood from the infirmary, he was brought to his safe room. Wentao, according to the DNA, you and your father are both descendants of the Zhang clan from 1,000 years ago. Therefore, these 4 Qilin jade pendants can only be opened with your blood. Although the Qilin jade pendants were your ancestors, the Zhang clan has been destroyed for more than 1,000 years. The jade pendants now belong to the country. You should understand what I'm saying, right? I understand. It's just like antiques. As long as it's not an antique passed down from generation to generation, it belongs to the country. After going through this ordeal, Wentao seemed to have matured a lot. He no longer looked like a child. However, it's your ancestors' inheritance after all. You have a right to know what it is. However, no matter what you see, it's a national secret. Without permission, you can't reveal it to anyone. Yes. After everything was settled, Wang Lan placed the 4 jade pendants on the table. Wang Lan, Lu Yusin, Jiang Xinyu, and the others picked up a jar of blood and dripped it on the jade pendants. The jade pendants were like pieces of paper. The blood successfully soaked the jade pendants. In the blink of an eye, the sparkling jade pendants were dyed red. Suddenly, a red light exploded from the red jade pendants. The light shot into the void and exploded in the air. Then, a holographic projection appeared in front of everyone's eyes. This is unbelievable. Is this the technology from 2,000 years ago? The ancients from 2,000 years ago had already learned the holographic projection technology? Lu Yusin exclaimed in shock. Quick, take a video camera and record it. I'm already recording it. The image lasted for about 10 minutes. Then it disappeared as if the energy had been cut off. The blood-red jade pendants returned to their previous sparkling and translucent appearance. They picked up the video camera and replayed the image. This looks like Zhang Jiajia. Zhang Jiajia isn't like this, right? Jiang Xinyu asked. The image in front of them was a plain. However, Zhang Jiajia was filled with mountain peaks that looked like heavenly pillars. It was completely different. Zhang Jiajia wasn't like this in the past. Legend has it that the landscape of Zhang Jiajia was created by Zhang Lingxian's sword. It can't be wrong. Look, that's Wui Mountain, that's Wangshan Mountain, and that's the Misty Peak. With these 3 mountain peaks as landmarks, that plain is definitely Zhang Jiajia's territory. Let the geologists see what secrets Zhang Jiajia is hiding. 7 days passed quietly. The Zhang Jiajia tourist area was completely isolated. All the entrances to Zhang Jiajia were blocked by armed police. Hundreds of geologists installed densely packed detection equipment on the plain shown on the map, which was the entire tourist area of Zhang Jiajia. They were in full swing as they tested the equipment. The periphery was blocked by armed police. The inside was protected by the special services of the Heavenly Sword Bureau. Although Wang Lan thought that the demons wouldn't have the guts to make a move, there was no harm in being careful. Reporting, Chief. The equipment testing has been completed. Should we start the research now? Let's start. How deep can you detect with this equipment? 3,000 meters. This is already the deepest equipment in the world. Okay, we'll wait for the good news. Scientific research was a very boring thing to do, especially geological exploration, which was the most boring of all. Wang Lan and Jiang Xinyu were bored. However, Jiang Xinyu started to tour around Zhang Jiajia. The 2 of them were the only ones in a famous tourist area. The feeling was 10 times better. Both of them could fly. They danced between mountain peaks, strolled along the glass walkway, barbecued on the mountain peak, and brewed tea on the sword peak. They were like a pair of immortals. Ring, ring, ring. Wang Lan's phone rang. Hello. General Wang, I found it. I found it. It's simply beyond our imagination. What? Come over quickly. This result is simply shocking. After hanging up, Wang Lan looked at Jiang Xinyu. There seems to be something incredible over there. Let's go take a look. Okay. The two of them leaped into the sky and landed at the site of the exploration. An old professor was excitedly building a 3D model on a computer. General Wong, you're here. Look, it's unbelievable. This is a prehistoric super civilization. It must be one. This is... Wang Lan looked at the circular model on the computer. On the model, there were pillars densely packed like hedgehogs. What is this? This is a heaven's secret lock, the professor said. It's a type of ancient heaven's secret lock. A normal heaven's secret lock has 10 to 99 bolts. However, this heaven's secret lock has more than 700 bolts. Only by unlocking the heaven's secret lock and inserting all these bolts into the keyhole can the heaven's secret lock be opened. But what does this have to do with Zhang Jiajie? Suddenly, Wang Lan's voice stopped. He looked around in horror. You mean these mountains? Chapter 658. That's right. These mountains are the stone scabbards of the divine secret lock. As long as we can find a way to unlock the divine secret lock and put these mountains back into the ground, we'll be able to solve this 2,000-year mystery. What? What kind of joke is this? Wang Lan looked at the towering mountains around him blankly. Put these mountains back into the ground? Why don't you just press the elevator on Mount Everest and fill the Pacific Ocean? I was shocked beyond words back then, but that's the truth. Ring! His phone suddenly rang. Wang Lan took it out and saw that it was Yulia. Hello, Yulia. What's up? Have you found Lu Shi's whereabouts? I'm about to reach Huzhou province. Are you there? You're in Huzhou? What are you doing here? It's not convenient to talk over the phone. We'll talk when we get off the plane. Okay. Yulia's coming? Did Lu Shi come to Huzhou? Jiang Xinyu asked curiously. That's very likely. During this period, the International Security Committee led by Yulia had mobilized the entire world to search for Lu Shi's whereabouts. Yulia's sudden arrival in Huzhou must have something to do with Lu Shi. The two of them left Zhangjiajie and drove to Huzhou International Airport. At 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the plane landed smoothly at Huzhou International Airport. The blonde, blue-eyed, and curvaceous Yulia walked out of the drop-off area with a few International Security Committee agents. There were not many foreigners in Huzhou, especially foreigners of Yulia's quality. She was like a star who walked out of a movie. She was as beautiful as a wallpaper. Yulia took off her sunglasses when she arrived in front of Wang Lan and Yulia. Suddenly, Wang Lan heard a series of gasps behind her. Yulia's beauty had already exceeded the limits of human standards of beauty. Back then, even Wang Lan had been momentarily dazed. Almost everyone who saw Yulia for the first time would be shocked by her beauty and dazzled. Yulia reached out and shook Wang Lan's hand gently. Then, she hugged Jiang Xinyu. Long time no see. Not long. It's only been a few months. Let's go to the Heavenly Sword Bureau first, Wang Lan said. The 8 cars drove out of the airport and quickly arrived at the headquarters of the Heavenly Sword Bureau. In the Heavenly Sword Bureau's high-level conference room, Wang Lan, Jiang Xinyu, Lu Yusin, Yulia, and other senior agents of the International Security Committee were having a formal meeting. Wang Lan, ever since you left, the task of finding Lucy has been on my shoulders. Yulia said, half-jokingly. Then I'm very sorry. Capable people do more work. Last month, we found an important base for the birds of paradise. As she spoke, Yulia took out a stack of documents and a few photos from her purse. Unfortunately, our actions were detected by the enemy in advance. The important people in this base have all evacuated in advance, and the rest have all been killed and captured by us. We also caught a Jade State S-Class wanted criminal, Shachia. Wang Lan's eyes widened in surprise. She's the one who engraved the tactics in the brains of everyone in the Birds of Paradise, making it impossible for us to obtain information from the Birds of Paradise's brains? Yes, that's the person. But when we caught her, she wasn't very well either. She had already lost the ability to move and could only move around in a wheelchair. Her illusion reality was indeed very strong. She could turn illusions into reality and also turn reality into illusions. I spent a lot of effort to take her down and force her to undo the tactics. Only then was we able to obtain important information. Lucy was indeed in this base before. The person in charge of this base is the third leader of the Birds of Paradise, Maxie. But not long before we arrived, Maxie and Lucy both left. The Birds of Paradise don't know where they went. After a month of investigation, we can almost be sure that Maxie is in Huzhou, Jade State. That means Lucy might also be in Huzhou. That's really unfortunate news. Wang Lan shook his head with a bitter smile. He had heard enough bad news recently, so he didn't care about any more bad news. Then it seems, Lucy is here for the demon god's blood, Wang Lan said after thinking for a while. Demon god's blood? What's that? About 10,000 years ago, the demons in the Eastern Heavenly Court had a great battle here. Many demons fell here. Their blood condensed into a pool of blood, which was sealed in the void by our Eastern Heavenly Realms goddess Hotu. But 2 years ago, the pool of blood reappeared and have been found by the demons. The demons' plan is to use the demon god's blood to create a new demon god. But there are 2 prerequisites for accepting the demon god's blood. One is that you need a strong physical body. This physical body must be extraordinarily strong. The second is that you must accept the demon god's blood and not reject it. The demon god's vessel they prepared was captured by me, so they thought of Lucy as a backup body. Lucy's angelic body and his goal fit the criteria perfectly. What? Create a demon god? Yulia's face suddenly turned ugly. We must stop him. It wasn't easy to knock Lucy off his pedestal. We can't let him return to the peak. But the question now is, where is Lucy? Where's the demon god's blood? They hid it too well. So far, they haven't revealed any clues. Then let's work together to search. We'll search for Mosi. You guys search for the blood pool. We must find them before Lucy gets the demon god's blood. Definitely. After all, Yulia and the Heavenly Sword Bureau belong to 2 different systems, so it was impossible for them to have a unified command. But information and resources could be shared. If Yulia needed anything, she only needed to make an application to Wang Lan. 3 days later, a capable female special agent came to Wang Lan's office. General Wang Lan, Shifeng Intelligence has important information. Oh, what is it? Look, the other party put a person's photo in front of Wang Lan. This person was originally a brother of our Heavenly Sword Bureau, but he sacrificed himself a few years ago. But he was recognized by Skynet in the past few days. Are you sure it's him? Could be a twin brother? Yes, Skynet can recognize twins. And this person's behavior is very suspicious. Every time he appears, he is very mysterious and disappears very mysteriously. The brothers of Shifeng Branch have been dispatched to capture him, but the other party is very cunning and disappears without a trace every time. He still appears after being targeted by Shifeng. Wang Lan asked doubtfully. He still appears, but he's more hidden than before. He avoids all the surveillance cameras. If it weren't for the Skynet system, we wouldn't have been able to find him. Let's go. I'll go personally. To find clues about the demon spy, whether it was true or not, Wang Lan needed to verify it personally. They set off in the morning and arrived at Shifeng Branch in the afternoon. Hello, Director Wu. General Wang, I didn't expect you to come personally. Let's cut to the chase. How's the situation? He hasn't appeared for 2 days. Maybe we've been watching too closely. Maybe we've alerted him. General Wang, I'm reviewing myself. I may have made a mistake. Let's not talk about this first. What does he do every time he appears? To buy food. And every time he appears in a different place and disappears in a different place. We can't determine his residence. As he spoke, Director Wu tapped on the screen behind him. A dozen red dots appeared on the map. What are these red dots? They're all the places where he appeared several times. He was also recognized by Skynet in those places. But most of the time, he's hidden, so we don't know where he went. We followed the traces and found out that he bought food and water. And the time he appeared was before 8 o'clock in the morning and disappeared before 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Wang Lan tapped on the table and fell into deep thought. How much food did he buy? He bought a little from that store. He bought some from this one. It should be quite a lot. Did he buy food for his companions? What a cunning guy. Why didn't he order takeout? A brother from the intelligence department complained. I've tracked his location several times through takeout. That's why this group of demon spies have learned their lesson. They don't dare to order takeout anymore. He exposed too little information. And there's no pattern at all in such a large area. Sometimes he even crosses the city. Even if we have Skynet, it's useless. Wait. A flash of inspiration swept across Wang Lan's mind. Suddenly, Wang Lan seemed to have thought of something and hurriedly said. He pointed out the location where he first appeared. The technician immediately operated the computer quickly. The other red dots disappeared, leaving only 2 dots. These 2 dots were not the locations where he appeared and disappeared. They were only the locations where he was found. Use the transportation network to connect these 2 dots. There are a total of 10 routes. Connect them all. Yes. Soon, 10 routes appeared on the map displayed on the screen. Connect the points found a second time in the same way. With Wang Lan's order, more and more routes were connected on the map. In the blink of an eye, the densely packed routes covered the entire map. However, with these routes, one could clearly see the positions where the lines intersected. Extract the position where the lines intersect the most. The technician immediately operated the computer fiercely. Soon, the route with the most intersecting was extracted. Looking at this intersection, most people didn't understand what it meant. Only a few people suddenly realized and showed an expression of admiration to Wang Lan. General Wang deserves to be called General Wang. Brilliant, really brilliant. He came out to buy food, so he had to send the food to their nest. The place where he appeared may not be the nest, and the place where he disappeared may not be the nest. But no matter where he goes, the route will definitely not bypass the nest. So the route with the most overlap must be where the nest is located. After listening to the explanation of the head of the intelligence department, a confused Secret Service suddenly showed an expression of realization. Fortunately, Shifeng City is not a developed city like Shanghai. The population is not so dense. There is only one residential area at this intersection point. The rest is easy. The demon spies must have rented a house, and the number of them is not small. We should be able to further narrow down the range by secretly contacting the landlord of the rental house in the community. Why are you just talking? If you know what to say, why don't you do it? The head of the intelligence department slapped the head of the brother who spoke and shouted. The intelligence department quickly acted. Everyone acted and followed Wang Lan to the headquarters of the Shifeng branch. The Secret Service of the Intelligence Department eagerly served tea to Wang Lan, as expected of the nemesis of the demons. In such a mess of information, you found a key breakthrough so quickly. General Wang is indeed General Wang. Chapter 659. It was late at night, and people were going home. Cars quietly came to a stop on the side of the road outside the residential area. The 2 traffic policemen were just about to go home when they saw more than a dozen cars scrupulously occupying the non-motorized vehicle lane. Brother, I've been a traffic policeman for 3 years, and I've never seen such arrogant people. Should we deal with him? The older man gently put out the cigarette in his hand. Isn't this bullshit? Deal with him, my ass. Halfway through his words, he saw a car of Celestial Sword Special Service coming down. Although the Shifeng City Heavenly Sword Bureau was rarely dispatched, and most of the people only saw them a few times a year, the Celestial Sword Special Service attire couldn't fool people. Deal with him, my ass. You dare. The 2 traffic policemen silently turned around, got on their motorcycles, and left. Off duty, off duty. You guys outflank from the left, you guys outflank from the right. Captain Zhang, you take people around to the back. The others follow me to block the front. The group of brothers dispersed and divided into 4 groups to outflank the community from all directions. On the 3rd floor of a building, the demon spy on the lookout immediately noticed the situation and hurriedly shouted, "Not good! The Celestial Sword Bureau is here. Are we exposed here? What should we do?" The higher-ups only told us to wait here. Do we have to evacuate? Now it's not a question of whether to evacuate or not, but whether we can survive. Everyone, don't panic. This is Shifeng City. I heard that there is only one Star Sea realm and 4 galaxy realms in Shifeng City. If we really want to break through, they can't stop us. Brothers, jump out of the window and evacuate. As soon as he finished speaking, he instantly rushed out of the window. The residents downstairs only heard a loud sound of glass shattering, and then a figure rushed out of the window and landed on the roof of a building in front of them like a swallow. In an instant, he jumped up into the sky again like a grasshopper. Walala, the crisp sound of iron chains rang out. Suddenly, an iron chain crossed the sky and stopped the demon's spy from the sky. Get down! Tie home! The demon spy fell to the ground and stood up again with a somersault. When he saw the Celestial Sword Special Service in black military uniform in front of him, he shouted faintly, "Looks like you've done a lot of intel on the Heavenly Sword Bureau. Oomph. You like to use chains as weapons and are very famous. That's fine too. I can kill a Heavenly Sword Bureau expert before I leave." With a howl, the human-shaped spy in front of him instantly transformed into a high-level demon over 2 meters tall. His whole body's aura surged, and his strength was firmly at the Star Sea realm. Star Sea realm? Impossible. Haha! The Earth Star realm suppression on us has lessened a lot. But with Yulia's strength, how did Lu Shi succeed so quickly? Now that Lu Shi's level has dropped, Yulia should be able to resist. We'll know when we ask. In less than 10 minutes, the two of them arrived at their target location 30 kilometers away. They fell from the sky. 3 of the 4 teams that Yulia had brought were lying on the ground with serious injuries. Blood was flowing everywhere. Wang Lan casually threw 3 life auras over. What happened? This afternoon, we were eating at a cafe. Suddenly, a car tire burst on the street below, causing an accident. When we looked over, we saw Maxie coming out of Flying Cake Shop. Yulia followed with our secret. But when we followed her to the alley, Lu Shi suddenly appeared and controlled Yulia with one move. Then, he disappeared with Yulia. With Yulia's strength, how could Lu Shi have taken her down in an instant? Back then, when Yulia didn't know Lu Shi's identity, Lu Shi had already done something to her. As long as this warlock array was activated, Yulia would immediately lose her ability to resist. This answer stunned Wang Lan. Back then, Lu Shi had not used this trick when his level was dropped 3 times in a row. Why did he wait until now to use it? How could this Lu Shi be so patient? Moreover, this ambush was obviously targeted at Yulia. Why would Lu Shi need Yulia to accept the inheritance of the demon god's blood? Mr. Wang Lan, what do we do now? How can I know what to do? Let's investigate and see if we can find Lu Shi and save Yulia. But the possibility is not high. Where did you find Maxie? At the Left Bank Cafe. Wang Lan and the group went to the cafe where Maxie was found. After standing in front of the cafe for a while, he said, "From the results, Lu Shi's kidnapping of Yulia was premeditated. In other words, while you were looking for Lu Shi had been secretly following you. That should be the case. That car accident should have been caused by Maxie." After saying that, Wang Lan led the group into the Flying Cake Shop. This was a Tianzhu flying cake shop. The advertisement was also authentic Tianzhu cuisine. "Dear leaders, what can I do for you?" The manager hurriedly greeted them and asked with a face full of smiles. "Do you know this person?" Wang Lan took out Maxie's photo and asked, "This person?" After looking at it for a long time, he shook his head. "I don't know him. Although our shop is Tianzhu Flying Cake, we don't have many Tianzhu people here. Not to mention Huzhou Province. Even Jade State doesn't have many Tianzhu people. Is that so? Can I take a look at your shop's surveillance camera?" Of course, of course. Then, he brought Wang Lan and the rest backstage and turned on the surveillance camera. Following the rewind of the surveillance camera, they soon saw Maxie coming out of the shop. "Don't you remember this person? That's strange. Table 7 isn't Tianzhu person? That's not right. I remember that Table 7 is from Jade State." Tianzhu and Jade State people look so different. There's no way I don't remember him. The people who opened the shop had developed the ability to be observant and alert. They would have some impression of which table they were at, what they ate, whether they were regular customers or not. Are you sure? I'm sure. I remember that this isn't the first time Table 7 has been here. I also remember that he said that our restaurant's Tianju cuisine is very authentic. That's why I have a deeper impression of him. Wang Lan's eyes suddenly lit up as an idea flashed through his mind. Maxi was in Tianju person. He didn't know if it was because of his obsession or something else, but he seemed to be obsessed with Tianju restaurants. Are there many restaurants with Tianju style in this city? I don't think there are many. As far as I know, there are only 2 or 3 restaurants, and none of them are authentic. I used to work in a restaurant in Tianju. After I learned the essence of it, I returned to China and opened this shop. Go back and find me all the restaurants with Tianju style in the city. I'm guessing that Maxi will definitely eat at the Tianju restaurant. But Maxi is proficient in the art of yoga in disguise. He definitely won't eat with a face that we know. How can we be sure who is Maxi? Someone from the Heavenly Sword Bureau's intelligence department asked. Are you stupid? Wang Lan asked impatiently. Don't we have the Skynet? Just focus on these restaurants and we'll know. I'm sorry, General Wang. I still don't quite understand. If Maxi were to disguise himself, even the Skynet wouldn't be able to recognize him, right? Wang Lan slapped himself in the face. How could someone with such an IQ work for the Celestial Sword Special Service? Tell me, in Jade State, how many people haven't gone through the identity verification process? What kind of people can't be recognized by the Skynet? As long as they have the Jade State ID card, their data will be stored in the Skynet. Naturally, they can be recognized. Oh, I understand. You mean that as long as they can't be recognized, it's Maxi? Although I can't guarantee that it's 100% accurate, the accuracy is definitely above 90%. There are only a few Tianju restaurants in Huzhou. If there's someone that the Skynet can't recognize in these few Tianju restaurants, it must be him. Yes, I'll do it right away. Chapter 660. Wang Lan transferred Xiao AI into the Skynet system. He doubted the processing power of the Skynet computer, but Xiao AI's cloud data processing ability was very advanced. If he gave Xiao AI enough hardware, he could monitor the whole human race. Beep, beep, beep. At noon the next day, Wang Lan's cell phone suddenly rang. He took it out and saw that Xiao AI had used the Skynet to lock on a suspect in a curry rice restaurant located in the Cloud Ing Living Square. Get ready. Wang Lan hurriedly stood up and shouted as he draped the combat uniform over his body. At noon, there were many people in the Cloud Ing Living Square. Most of them were white-collar workers who came for lunch. It seemed that the high-paying technology companies didn't arrange meals for them. 4 or 5 black cars drove into the Cloud Ing Living Square. With a squeak, the emergency brakes sounded. Several security guards saw the cars blocking the entrance of the Cloud Ing Living Square and immediately got up to drive them away. Just then, they saw Wang Lan and the others get out of the car. They immediately shrank back and turned around decisively, pretending that they didn't see them. Entering the square, Wang Lan and Jiang Xinyu took the elevator, while the others quickly climbed the stairs. In the square, many people looked at Wang Lan and the others curiously and whispered in 2s and 3s. At the door of the restaurant, the staff quickly greeted them with a smile. Welcome! How many people are there? We are looking for someone. After entering the square, Wang Lan went straight to the 7th table where the target was sitting. And Mo she didn't know if it was a coincidence or he had a special obsession with number 7. He sat at number 7 last time, and this time he sat at number 7 again. Wang Lan went straight to the opposite of Mo, she, and sat down. He took out a certificate from his arms and put it on the table. The middle-aged man opposite him raised his eyelids, glanced at him gently, and ate silently. At this time, there was a commotion in the restaurant. The special service of the Heavenly Sword Bureau came in and asked all the guests to leave the restaurant. The restaurant owner opened his mouth, but in the end, he didn't say anything. Don't worry, we just arranged for the guests to leave. They won't run away. We will try not to affect your income. If there is a loss, the Heavenly Sword Bureau will reimburse you. Okay, thank you. The middle-aged man was still eating unhurriedly. After finishing all the food on the table, He patted his belly with satisfaction. The greedy wolf of Jade State really lives up to its name. The saint is dead. Sony has fallen into your hands. And this time, even I have fallen into your hands. But there's one thing I don't understand. I think my disguise technique is unparalleled in the world. How did you see through it? Wang Lan looked down at the plate on the table. Mo, she suddenly realized and laughed softly. I'm an Indian. Even though I betrayed my country, I still have feelings for India that I can't part with. This might be the biggest flaw in my disguise. I know I'm no match for you. Make your move. Where is Yulia? The true god needs her, so of course she is by the true god's side. Where's Lucy? No comment. Do you think I can't read it myself if you don't tell me? Wang Lan said, and slapped Mo Shi's head. Shakia is dead. The technique in your mind doesn't exist anymore, right? Shakia's death only changed the way the technique was activated. It doesn't mean that the technique no longer exists. As long as I want to, I can still activate the technique at any time. Boom! With a loud bang, Mo Shi's head exploded without warning. The scattered brain matter and blood formed a cloud of blood mist in the air. Wang Lan slowly stood up. The bloody mist in front of him froze and gradually gathered into a ball of blood. He gently went to the trash can and threw the bloody mist in. General Wang, he is ruthless to others, but even more ruthless to himself. I always thought that the birds of paradise were so fearless because they were controlled by the technique. I didn't expect that Mo Shi would rather die than cooperate. Wang Lan let out a long sigh. Yulia might not be found. Just as he was about to turn around, Wang Lan suddenly stopped. What's this? Wang Lan squatted beside Mo Shi's body and looked at the black residue under his feet. This looks like coal powder. Let's test it out and analyze it. It's best to determine where he came from. The Heavenly Sword Bureau immediately acted. After waiting for an hour, the latest report was sent to Wang Lan's desk. General Wang, this coal powder is mineral coal powder. It's raw coal powder that hasn't been processed. In Huzhou, there are a total of 17 coal mines, and the closest one to here is at Black Cloud Mountain. How far is it? It's 80 kilometers in a straight line. Found it. Wang Lan immediately stood up and shouted. Director Liu asked the higher-ups for the 5 Emperors' support. We'll go over first. General Wang, are you so sure that it's the base of Lucy and the demon spies? Why would Mo Shi go all the way to Black Cloud Mountain, where there are few people? Also, I have a feeling that they're all there. Wang Lan, Jiang Xinyu, Liu Yusin, and a group of elites from the Heavenly Sword Bureau immediately set off. The news of Mo Shi's death could not be kept a secret for long. Once the other party was alerted, it was very likely that they would retreat again. Compared to the other mountains in Hu Province, MT Black Shadow was not worth mentioning at all because it only had 3 lonely peaks. However, MT Black Cloud had been quite famous since ancient times because the entire peak was a mountain of coal. The mixture of pitch black coal and hard rocks created these 3 pitch black peaks. As a coal mountain, it should have been vigorously mined until there was nothing left. However, independent black mountains like this were too rare in the world. Moreover, Jade State did not lack coal, so it had been preserved since ancient times. After entering the boundary of Black Cloud Mountain, Wang Lan opened his eyes abruptly. In an instant, his pupils turned red and 2 pinwheels spun in his eyes. God's Might was a space-type ability and was very sensitive to spatial fluctuations. Under this pair of kaleidoscopes, there was no place to hide from the spatial fluctuations. Found it, Wang Lan shouted loudly. His figure sped up, and he instantly rushed to the location of the target. Outside the dimensional door, there was a group of people in security uniforms standing guard. When Wang Lan and the others landed, they were about to step forward and scold them with batons. However, when Liu Yusin and the others landed with the Celestial Sword Special Service, they immediately knew that they had been exposed. They did not hide it and instantly turned into demon spies. Yi Luoxue, Jiang Xinyu shouted. In an instant, a cold current swept out. She turned into a ball of cold air and swept past the 5 demon spies like the wind. Whoosh! A cold wind swept past. The demon spies who were charging ferociously instantly froze in place, as if they had been immobilized. Jiang Sinyu's figure had already appeared behind this group of demon spies. The frost sword in her hand slowly turned into snowflakes and scattered. With a series of cracking sounds, this group of spies all turned into ice shards and shattered into pieces. Wang Lan's face darkened as he walked step by step towards the dimensional crack. There was some kind of sealing technique set up around the crack, probably to prevent spatial fluctuations from being detected. I'll go in first. If there's any danger, I'll immediately retreat. If I don't retreat, then all of you can come in. With that, Wang Lan's figure flashed and entered the space. Jiang Xinyu and the others outside waited for a few seconds before jumping into the dimensional crack and disappearing one by one. This was a blood-red world and also a dilapidated world. The ground beneath his feet was filled with deep cracks. Even this terrifying and messy landscape gave people a chilling feeling. The sky was red. The world was red, but the ground was black. Other than Wang Lan, Jiang Xinyu, and Lu Yusin, the other brothers of the Heavenly Sword Bureau felt uncomfortable the moment they entered. Wang Lan turned around and looked at the group of special agents. You guys go first. General, don't force yourself. The air is filled with an aura that affects people's hearts. As time passes, your minds will definitely be affected and you will fall into madness. Once you go out, guard the outside. When the 5 emperors come to help, you will inform us of the situation inside. Director Lu, Xinyu, let's go. Roar. Suddenly, a mournful roar rang out. Under the ground, a hideous and terrifying hand suddenly appeared. It looked like a human's hand, but it was covered with scales. Without waiting for these monsters to drill out of the ground, Wang Lan blasted out with lava. Boom, boom, boom. On the ground, lava flowed. However, these hideous and terrifying monsters swam freely in the lava, as if nothing had happened. These monsters were very fast. They rushed to Lu Yusin's side like afterimages and punched down on Lu Yusin's face. Lu Yusin crossed his hands and hurriedly activated Takashi Hoshi's defensive technique to block. Boom! A terrifying force came. Takashi Hoshi's defensive technique instantly exploded, and Lu Yusin's body was instantly sent flying. His horrified expression froze on his face. Lu Yusin looked at the crazily howling monsters in front of him in disbelief. He was a Takashi Hoshi at the peak of the Star Sea realm. Even if he wasn't given a title, his strength wasn't inferior to one. But a random humanoid monster that appeared out of nowhere actually broke his defense and sent him flying? How could it be so strong? Looking at these monsters continuously drilling out from the depths of the ground. The 3 of us won't die here together, right? Roar! After a successful attack, the monster roared and rushed toward Lu Yusin, clawing at Lu Yusin's face. In an instant, a shadow flashed past, and the monster's roar came to an abrupt end. It froze in the air and slowly split into 2 halves. Wang Lan's figure appeared beside Lu Yusin. Old Lu, how long has it been since you last trained? That's because I wasn't ready just now. Lu Yusin's old face reddened. As a peak Star Sea realm expert, he was almost instantly killed. It didn't make sense. Wang Lan's body sank slightly, and his figure flashed and disappeared in front of Lu Yusin's eyes. Wang Lan's speed was as fast as a stream of light, flashing like a ghost. In just a few seconds, he flashed at least hundreds of times, and every time he flashed, a monster would be killed by Wang Lan's blade. Numbers were meaningless in front of a speed-type expert like Wang Lan. No matter how many monsters there were, they couldn't withstand hundreds of kills in a second. In just a minute, the ground was littered with corpses. If it were someone else, with so many monsters, even a 10,000-man Takashi Hoshi army might be wiped out. Even the most elite Vermilion Bird Company might not be able to make it out alive. But this time, Wang Lan alone was enough. Now I'm even more certain that Lu Shi is here, and even the demon god Bloodpool is here. Let's go. The 3 of them set off again. In the distance, the lone peak that pierced the clouds, the rising demonic smoke was like a beacon that pointed the way for Wang Lan. He was there, and they were all there. Chapter 661. Boom! With a loud sound, smoke rose to the sky, and a black fog suddenly exploded in front of Wang Lan's group. As the fog rose to the sky, Wang Lan's group stopped. With a loud sound, a canyon appeared in front of Wang Lan. On the other side of the canyon, several demons appeared. Wang Lan, I didn't expect you to find this place so quickly. A demon shouted, but you can only stop here. Oh, it's been a long time since a demon dared to be so arrogant in front of me. Wang Lan smiled coldly and took a step forward, but he couldn't take the step in the end. The demon's spy suddenly dragged out a person, an unconscious woman wearing a white divine robe. If you dare to come close, I'll kill her. Saying that, he put his hand that had turned into a sharp blade at Yulia's throat. Wang Lan's life aura had a prerequisite, and that was to lay down the life aura before he could be reborn. Without the life aura, Wang Lan couldn't bring the dead back to life. The canyon was beyond Wang Lan's maximum casting distance, and the demon spy only needed to move slightly to separate Yulia's head. Damn it, Wang Lan, I'll leave behind an afterimage and sneak over to save Yulia first. Be careful, don't force yourself. Got it. Boom. Right at this moment, the lone peak in the distance suddenly exploded. Devil energy soared into the sky, and the boundless black energy condensed into dark clouds in the sky. No, it wasn't just dark clouds, it was a pitch-black sky. Ha ha! His Majesty Lucy did it, he did it. The demon's spies all turned their heads, looking at the terrifying power behind them with ecstatic smiles. Taking advantage of the opportunity, Wang Lan's figure flashed, and in an instant he completed level 3 flash in the air, snatching Yulia from the demon's hands, and his figure disappeared again, retreating 100 meters away. A life aura fell on Yulia's body, and her life aura gradually began to recover. Wang Lan took a closer look, and his eyes burned with rage. Yulia's blood had almost been sucked clean. The reason why Yulia was still alive was because of her profound cultivation. However, the strange thing was that Yulia's new blood was no longer red, but a faint golden color. He had seen golden blood on Yulia's clone before. Was Yulia going to transform into an angel? Yulia, who was enveloped by the life aura, gradually woke up. The life aura could revive even after being blown to smithereens, so there was naturally no problem in catalyzing the creation of blood. A moment later, Yulia opened her eyes. Yulia, who had just opened her eyes, suddenly stood up in shock. When she saw that it was Wang Lan standing beside her, her expression became slightly better. But when she saw the surging devil chi in the distance, despair appeared on Yulia's face once again. It's all my fault. It's all my fault. Lucy succeeded. Yulia, what happened? Jiang Xin came to Yulia's side and asked. Lucy was pouring the devil god's blood into the blood pool, but the god's bloodline rejected the devil god's blood. Only the god's bloodline could break through the bloodline, so he kidnapped me and used my blood to break through his bloodline shackles. In other words, Lucy has already finished pouring the devil god's blood? Boom! Another deafening blast resounded. In the sky, a gigantic shadow of a demon god appeared. The surging evil energy in the sky turned into terrifying faces of the demon god. A trifling low-level devil god dares to possess this sovereign. How can this sovereign's will be controlled by you? All of you scram. A loud roar rang out, as if heavenly thunder was rolling through the world. A terrifying power erupted from the sky, and the devil god phantoms in the sky were extinguished one by one like popped soap bubbles. In the blink of an eye, only the surging devil chi was left in the world. Lucy roared towards the sky, as if he was enduring great pain. Suddenly, Lucy's back exploded, and 6 pairs of pitch-black wings burst out from his back, like a blooming flower. Lucy gently flapped his wings, and as they fluttered, the devil chi dispersed like smoke. The black moon mask on Lucy's face suddenly made cracking sounds, and like glass being broken, it fell to the ground piece by piece. After losing the black moon mask, Lucy was no longer tormented by the curse. Instead, an unruly smile appeared on his cold face. slowly descending from the sky. Devil chi surrounded him, and a pitch-black armor slowly appeared on his body. "It's you again? You're here?" Lucy greeted Wang Lan as if he was an old friend. Although Lucy's smile was like a gentle breeze, Wang Lan was enduring a pressure that felt like Mount Tai was pressing down on him. The pressure seemed to be forcing Wang Lan to kneel, but Wang Lan's stubbornness made him grit his teeth and stand firmly in front of Lucy. Yulia's body flashed with holy light, and a cloud suddenly appeared in the sky. The Holy Grail crossed the void and was once again summoned by Yulia. "Still want to put up a resistance?" Lucy smiled gently. "Although I only have 8 pairs of wings left, I have the full strength of a fallen angel. My strength is stronger than before." Lucy smiled faintly, and suddenly his body flashed, and he appeared beside Wang Lan. With lightning speed, he stabbed his palm into Wang Lan's chest. Wang Lan, Yulia was shocked, but Jiang Xinyu was calm. But Lucy's expression suddenly became a little strange. Wang Lan's body suddenly rushed forward, and like a phantom, he passed through Lucy's body. The moment he separated from Lucy's body, Wang Lan turned around and slashed. Ding! With a soft sound, Lucy raised his wings and easily blocked Wang Lan's slash. Wang Lan's body retreated quickly, and he raised his palm, and the door of the Star Palace opened. The silver-white phoenix constellation Saint Garment appeared above his head, and it instantly disintegrated, and Wang Lan wore it. Space-time ability? Lucy turned around silently and looked at Wang Lan playfully. "Wang Lan, hang in there, we are coming." 4 loud shouts rang out, and 4 streams of light rushed over from the distance at an extremely fast speed, landing beside Jiang Xinyu. Emperor Bai, Emperor Qing, Emperor Ming, and Emperor Xian. The 4 experts of Jade State were all here. "Lucy, why do you have 8 pairs of wings?" "We are late. Lucy has received the blood of the demonic god, and has become the new demonic god." "Demonic god? Then let us slaughter a god." The 4 emperors had been cultivating in seclusion for the past few days, and no one knew what they were cultivating. This time, facing Lucy, who had 8 pairs of wings, they were unprecedentedly confident. "Foolish mortal, you don't know what you are talking about. Brothers, let's go. Let him see the power of our Eastern Xian technique." The moment they finished speaking, white light gushed out from the 4 emperors' bodies. The light had an inexplicable holy aura, and Wang Lan was stunned. Immortal spiritual energy? Boom! What greeted Lucy's question was a destructive attack. The 4 figures were like streams of light, and in an instant, they hit Lucy's body. Lucy was thrown into the air by the powerful force. The 4 streams of light seemed to have traveled through time, and in an instant, they appeared around Lucy. Their attacks were faster than time, and with a sky full of colorful lights, they bombarded Lucy's body. Lucy was like a punching bag, and he was sent flying into the sky and into the ground. Jiang Xinyu and Yulia's faces were also filled with disbelief. This was especially true for Yulia. She could clearly feel how powerful each attack from the 4 emperors was. If it were her, she might have been killed by one of the attacks. Is this the power of the 5 emperors of Jade State? My God, how is this possible? Each of them is far more powerful than the Pope. Why do I have a feeling that Lucy might really be killed by them? Wang Lan rubbed his nose. Maybe he took some medicine? Previously, Wang Lan thought that his power had surpassed the 5 emperors' level, but now it seemed that the 5 emperors were still the 5 emperors. However, to be able to cause such a huge leap in their power, it must have been a breakthrough in their cultivation level. Perhaps it had something to do with the light that rippled with immortal spiritual energy that they used together. Boom! A terrifying cloud of smoke rose, and Lucy was smashed to the ground by the combined attack of the 4 emperors. Countless pieces of rock shot out, and the sky was filled with smoke as if hundreds of bombs had exploded at the same time. They should have severely injured him, right? Even if he doesn't die, he will be crippled. At least take him down by 1 cultivation level. Be careful, Wang Lan shouted anxiously. Boom! With a loud explosion, a ghostly figure rushed out of the smoke with unimaginable speed. Baidi was instantly sent flying as if he had been hit by a ghost, and a long and huge trench was formed on the ground. How is this possible? Boom! 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 The three emperors did not have time to react, and their bodies were sent flying again. At the same time, the immortal spiritual energy on their bodies was instantly dispersed by this attack. Lucy walked out from the dust cloud and patted the dust off his body, which might not even be there. Immortal spiritual energy is only the lowest level in the Eastern Heavenly Court. It is on the same level as the strength angel under me. You can't possibly think that such power can defeat me, right? You can't be that naive, right? Ow! The Lotus Emperor fell to the ground and spat out a mouthful of blood. However, just as he was about to stand up, a black, indescribable thing suddenly appeared beside him. It was like a spider, and it pinned the Lotus Emperor to the ground, unable to move. Don't think that it's unbelievable. In your eyes, this immortal spiritual energy is indeed very powerful, but in my eyes, it is just barely above the level of mortals. With that, Lucy slowly turned his face and smiled at Wang Lan. Be careful. Yuria controlled the Holy Grail and instantly appeared in front of Wang Lan. Even Wang Lan did not realize when Lucy had appeared in front of him. The Holy Grail ruthlessly smashed into Lucy's chest, and the Holy Grail bloomed with a brilliant, bright, yang divine light. Lucy silently looked at the Holy Grail in his chest, and then at Yuria, who was trying her best to maintain the Holy Grail. Suddenly, a sinister smile appeared on his face. I almost forgot that there is still you. I have already obtained your blood. Both of you must die. Boom! The Holy Grail was suddenly in Lucy's hand, and he ruthlessly pressed it down until it was smashed deep into the ground. Lucy raised his hand, and a black sword pierced towards Yuria's forehead. Just as the black sword was about to pierce Yuria's forehead, there was a sudden distortion in Yuria's position. The black sword swept past, and Yuria disappeared. It seems like you're the only one who has the space-time attribute. As soon as Lucy finished speaking, Wang Lan suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood. He lowered his head in shock, and a black sword protruded from his chest. Blood flowed out from his chest. Crack! With a crisp sound, the 4 Qilin Jade tokens hidden in Wang Lan's chest shattered. Chapter 662. You're such an annoying fly. Lucy whispered into Wang Lan's ear. Suddenly, a terrifying force came from Wang Lan's body. Lucy's expression changed. Before he could even understand what was happening, his body flew backward as if he had been hit by a high-speed train. His body flew backward faster than a bullet. A few seconds later, the mountain peak a kilometer away exploded, sending a terrifying cloud of dust into the air. Boom! Lucy rushed out of the cloud of dust, flapping his wings fiercely as he charged toward Wang Lan. Damn you, what the hell are you? Why aren't you dead yet? Why aren't you dead yet? Lucy was on the verge of breaking down. To him, Wang Lan was just an ant that could be squashed at any time. But why was he still alive after squashing him for so long? Why? Was this ant so hard to squash? Wang Lan was also dumbfounded. He felt the 4 Qilin Jade tokens in his chest shatter at the same time. Then, a powerful force surged from the tokens. Hum! Suddenly, a buzzing sound rang out between heaven and earth, as if the entire world had suddenly become silent. A huge hexagram formation appeared in the sky. Every corner of the formation was a spinning vortex. Within the vortex, chains of the laws of heaven and earth fell from the sky, turning the entire world into a world of chains. Ethereal celestial music rang out, echoing between heaven and earth. Lucy paused and looked at the changing world in confusion. His eyes flashed with deep unease. Suddenly, a figure walked out from the sky. There seemed to be steps in the empty sky, and the figure gradually solidified as she walked. Gradually, it turned into a woman with long black hair that fell to her heels. Her white robes were ethereal and ethereal. Hotu? Lucy saw the woman walking slowly from the sky, and his face turned pale. No, You're not Hutu. You're just a remnant soul. You've already fallen. You're just a remnant soul. Hutu looked at Lu Shi indifferently, then slowly reached out a finger. His finger was as green as jade, and it seemed to pierce through the void. The space around Lu Shi instantly froze. It was as if Lu Shi was sealed in a mirror, turning it into a two-dimensional plane. Bang! With a crisp sound, the mirror shattered. Countless shards fell like eggshells. Lu Shi, who was in the mirror, spat out a mouthful of blood. His body flew backward like a ray of light. Lu Shi let out a painful howl. Demonic chi surged around his body and instantly gathered into a huge and terrifying black energy ball. The energy ball contained a terrifying, earth-shattering power. With a light flick, the energy ball fell from the void. Wang Lan's expression changed drastically. His figure flashed and returned to Jiang Xinyu's side. The surrounding space instantly distorted, and in the blink of an eye, the four figures disappeared. Boom! A wave of terrifying tremors could be clearly felt even in the godmight space. Wang Lan's expression changed greatly, and his heart was also in turmoil. He didn't know who that woman was, nor did he know how that woman appeared. He also didn't know if that woman could withstand Lu Shi's attack. The tremors quickly disappeared. Wang Lan gritted his teeth and took a step out of the void. Their surroundings were no longer in the alternate dimension. They had returned to the Black Cloud Mountain in Huzhou Province. Lu Shi's attack had actually shattered the entire alternate dimension. When Wang Lan revealed herself, she suddenly felt a gaze above her head. Wang Lan raised her head and saw that the woman in white had her head lowered and was looking down at her. Her eyes were boundless and as calm as a mirror lake. You're not from this world? The woman suddenly spoke, revealing Wang Lan's biggest secret. Wang Lan's expression changed instantly, and his eyes flashed. But you're a human. Strange. The woman's voice sounded again. All living beings in the 6 paths of Earthstar Realm were born in the cycle of reincarnation and died in the cycle of reincarnation. But you were born into this world without going through the cycle of reincarnation. Perhaps that's why you can break fate and save this world. Wait, who are you? Are you talking to me? Wang Lan didn't know the woman's background, so he pretended to be confused. My name is Hutu. You humans like to call me Goddess Hutu. 10,000 years ago, I was severely injured. Before I died, I merged with the earth and became the earth's spirit. 2,000 years ago, the first person to awaken me was Zhongling Xian. You're the second person to successfully awaken me. Where's Lu Shi? Did you kill him? Wang Lan quickly asked. You mean that fallen angel just now? No, he ran away. I'm just a remnant soul, but I'm also the earth's spirit. That fallen angel has already become a god. I can't kill him. The mission of defeating him is yours. Me? Goddess Hutu, I want to, but my strength doesn't allow me. You can do it. You have to believe in yourself. If I believe that I'm useful, I'll believe that I'm the reincarnation of the heavenly Tao and the ruler of the universe. What's the use? Suddenly, Wang Lan's expression changed. An extremely sharp aura rushed from the depths of Wang Lan's body into Wang Lan's mind. Buzz, there was a vibration in his mind. The system actually appeared without Wang Lan's call and automatically opened the skills page. In the page, a brand new icon lit up strangely. An axe appeared in the icon. Heaven-splitting slash? Wang Lan raised his head to ask again, but Hutu's figure was no longer in the void. Goddess Hutu? Goddess Hutu? Wang Lan called out a few times, but there was no response from the void. His mind sank into the system again, and his spiritual power hit the heaven-splitting slash. The heaven-splitting slash was not a Takashi Hoshi skill that Wang Lan could master, and it had never belonged to Wang Lan. It was a Takashi Hoshi skill that Goddess Hutu's soul lent to Wang Lan. Moreover, it was a Takashi Hoshi skill that could only be used once. This was a killing move used to deal with Lu Shi. Why was Lu Shi's life so tough? Back then, he was beaten up by Gaia's power, and now, he was beaten up by Huda's power. Although he was beaten up badly, he survived. Wang Lan waved his hand, and Jiang Xinyu, the 5 Thearchs, and the rest were released from Wang Lan's divine power space. Perhaps the Lotus the Arch and the rest had already understood the use of the divine power space. After they came out, they looked at Wang Lan strangely. It seems like Pangu made the right choice to let Wang Lan be in charge. With the divine power space, even in the worst-case scenario, the spark of human civilization can still be preserved. That's not true. If Heavenly Blue Planet is destroyed, or the ecology of Heavenly Blue Planet becomes too bad, even if the spark is successfully preserved, it will go extinct. Let's not think about what will happen in the future. Let's think about what Lu Shi wants to do. Lu Shi is not dead. Also, who is that woman? Everyone was pulled back to reality, and Jiang Xinyu quickly asked, "That person is Goddess Hutu. She has merged with the earth, and that is one of her true spirits. However, Lu Shi escaped in the end. However, Goddess Hutu lent me a power. The next time I meet Lu Shi, I can use this power to kill him. However, the prerequisite is to find Lu Shi. This time, I spent a lot of effort to find Lu Shi, but because of my carelessness, I lost the opportunity." At this point, Yulia's face was filled with sadness. "Yulia, did Lu Shi say anything when he captured you?" Wang Lan asked hesitantly. "No, but he exclaimed when he was extracting my blood. It seemed like I had a very special bloodline. As for the rest, I don't know." Wait. Suddenly, Yulia's face was filled with shock. "I remember that a year ago, when I first met Lu Shi seemed to be very surprised. He also said that the inner world of the Holy Grail is something that mortal souls cannot reach. I am also the first holy maiden to enter the world of the Holy Grail in the past 10,000 years. He said that I have a divine bloodline. I think that is also the reason why Lu Shi did not kill me. He even made 2 copies of me. I'm also very suspicious of your bloodline. Look, the blood you are producing now is actually golden." Yulia looked at the blood slowly seeping out of her palm. It was very beautiful. "Yulia, God really exists," Wang Lan suddenly said to Yulia seriously. I know. I have always believed in it. In your special bloodline, does it mean that you're also a god? Or do you have the bloodline of a god?" Me? Yulia had never thought about this question. She believed in the gods, hoped to enter heaven after death, hoped to become an angel after death. But Yulia had never thought that she might be a god in the first place. If Yulia is a god, it will be easier for us to deal with Lu Shi. And even if Yulia is not a god, your special bloodline must have extraordinary power. Unraveling the mystery of Yulia's bloodline, humanity will have one more trump card, one more bargaining chip. Everyone looked at Yulia, their eyes falling into some kind of inexplicable deep thought. Is there any way to draw out the power of Yulia's bloodline? White Emperor thought for a while and said, "In Western mythology, power came from the bloodline. The descendants of God and mortals had a certain chance of awakening the power of God, especially the Olympian gods. They were especially keen on having descendants with mortals. Because of this, countless mortal heroes were born in the mythological era. This needs to be understood in the nation of God." "Yulia, are your parents still alive?" "I don't have parents. I grew up in the orphanage from the time I was sensible. Before I awakened the Takashi Hoshi talent, I was taken in as a disciple by my teacher." At this point, Yulia's face revealed a thoughtful expression. The things that she had taken for granted before were so illogical when she thought about it now. Before she awakened the Takashi Hoshi talent, she was taken in as a disciple by the previous saintess. Putting aside whether she could awaken the Takashi Hoshi talent, even if she awakened the Takashi Hoshi talent, how could a child who grew up in the orphanage become a saintess disciple? The saintess position in the divine religion was extraordinary. The saintess explanation back then was that she was guided by God. If that was true, why would God choose her? Yulia nodded silently. "It seems that I should really investigate my background. Wang Lan, can you guys come with me?" "Of course." Chapter 663. The entire alternate space was shattered by Lu Shi's one move, and the demon spies inside naturally vanished into thin air. At this point, Wang Lan's trip to Huzhou province could be considered to have come to a perfect end. Since the country's Project Pangu was still in preparation, Wang Lan took Jiang Xinyu and boarded the plane to the Nation of God. Wang Lan did not have a good impression of the Nation of God. His previous experience there was not a good one. However, the Nation of God was not as arrogant as they used to be after their power was greatly reduced and they were ravaged by the Lord of Hell. In the past 1.5 years, they actively participated in the construction of the world, visited other countries, and established diplomatic relations with poor countries. Their reputation was gradually restored. Furthermore, the Nation of God was the ancestral home of the divine religion. They were born with the hat of forgiveness, so the whole world had a positive impression of the Nation of God. When they arrived at the Nation of God, Wang Lan and Yuri were invited to the Saintess Palace by Yulia. The Saintess Palace was located in the 13th palace of the 14 holy palaces. It was below the Pope's palace. Normal people were not allowed to enter. They could not even visit, let alone live there. However, Wang Lan and Jiang Xinyu were welcomed by the Pope's palace as long as they were willing to. Yulia's background? The records say that she was abandoned like most orphans, but that is not the case. 20 years ago, the former Pope was summoned by the gods to search for the legendary Genesis Bible. After that, he disappeared for a year. A year later, he returned with the Genesis Bible and Yulia, who was still in her swaddling clothes. Just the fact that he found the Genesis Bible is enough to make him one of the greatest popes in the history of the divine religion. What? Yulia stood up as if she had heard something unbelievable. Isn't the Genesis Bible in the Vatican's possession? How could they have found it 20 years ago? Isn't the Vatican based on the Genesis Bible? Isn't the Nation of God based on the Genesis Bible too? Actually, the Genesis Bible was lost a long time ago. It never appeared again after the twilight of the gods. Over the past thousands of years, the divine religion had been split into many smaller sections. They all claimed that they were the true inheritors of the divine religion. There were even some evil sects that altered their teachings and used fabricated teachings to create the Bible. They even claimed that this was the real Genesis Bible. Under the circumstances back then, the divine religion had to establish their authority. Hence, the great Pope Yuri used the divine arts to communicate with heaven and wrote the original version of the Bible. Although the content was real, it was not the real creation Bible. In order to make the Bible look real, Pope Yuri did not hesitate to use his lifespan as the price to engrave the great truth spell in the Bible. From then on, the divine religion was recognized as the only true sect. However, a fake was still a fake, and the popes of the past had never given up on finding the real creation Bible. Until 20 years ago, the Pope finally found the Genesis Bible and confirmed the divine religion's lie. How do you know that the Genesis Bible is real? Wang Lan could not help but ask. The Genesis Bible has not appeared for 5,000 years. Can anyone still tell if it is real or fake? The Pope looked at Wang Lan and smiled. The Genesis Bible is not just a book. It is also a divine equipment that is even more powerful than the Holy Grail. Back then, the Pope used the great summoning spell and successfully opened the gate of heaven. Back then, the Pope and the Saintess also stepped through the gate of heaven and arrived at the legendary Garden of Eden. Since the former Pope has the Genesis Bible, why didn't he use it when he fought with the Lord of Hell? Why didn't he use it until his death? This, the Pope left behind his last words. The Genesis Bible has extraordinary power. A mortal's body cannot control it. Even if one uses up all their blood, they cannot use the Genesis Bible to attack. Furthermore, the Genesis Bible is the highest keepsake of the divine religion. We will not use it even if we die. Only when the divine religion is on the brink of destruction, when the divine religion is on the verge of destruction. Then, did the Pope meet Yulia with the Genesis Bible? Wang Lan asked again. This according to the Pope. No. It was on his way back, having obtained the Bible, that he had found Yulia in a basket, drifting with the tide. The Pope saved Yulia and sent her to the orphanage. Mr. Wang Lan, why do you want to investigate Yulia's background? Is there anything strange about her background? The biggest strange thing is Yulia's blood. Yulia used her fingernail to cut open her palm. A drop of golden blood flowed out from the wound. Seeing the golden blood, the Pope's face changed. This is golden blood? Do the golden men still exist? The Pope's calm face finally showed a shocked expression. Golden humans? Is it a very strong bloodline? Legend has it that after the gods created humans, the first generation of humans created by the gods had golden blood flowing in their bodies. They were called the golden humans, also known as the Golden Age. Then, as the human race multiplied, the number of humans increased, and their bloodline became more and more diluted. Finally, they evolved into humans with silver blood flowing in their veins. The Golden Age ended, and they were called the Silver Generation. The people of the Silver Age were called the Silver Humans. Then came the Iron Generation. The Iron Generation had red blood flowing in their veins, and their intelligence and aptitude were far inferior to the Silver and Gold generations. In the Silver Age, it was rumored that they had a third eye between their eyebrows. They were born with all kinds of superpowers, also known as the Era of Superpowers. Although the people of the Golden Age were only mortals, they had powers comparable to the gods. The first war between humans and gods was started by the people of the Golden Age. In the beginning, the gods only created humans for the sake of slaves. Humans had defeated the gods and obtained their freedom. During the war, the gods also discovered that the faith of humans could increase their divine power. This led to the first war between the gods for the sake of faith. The history of humans is barbaric. From the war to the history of civilization, humans fought against nature, against gods, and finally against humans. So, Yulia's bloodline does indeed have great power, even comparable to the gods. If it's the legendary golden humans, then it is indeed so. Then how do we activate this power? The Pope looked at Wang Lan innocently. The golden humans have disappeared for at least 200,000 years. How do I know? Well, no one knew the answer to this question. Boom! Suddenly, there was a clap of thunder, but the expressions of the four people in the Pope's palace changed. This thunderclap was not a natural thunderclap, but the aftermath of an explosion produced by a powerful star martial skill. In an instant, Yulia's figure disappeared. Wang Lan and Jiang Xinyu hesitated for a moment, then rushed out in an instant. The location of the incident was the back garden of the sanctuary. There was no trace of people here, and outsiders could not enter the back garden of the sanctuary at all. The four figures arrived at the scene of the incident in a few breaths of time. As soon as they arrived, they saw the Bishop of Judgment, who was wearing a red, great divine robe of judgment, killing an old pedant with one blow. Judgment? Mr. Martin? Yulia exclaimed. Bishop of Judgment, what are you doing? Martin tried to steal the Genesis Bible, but he resisted after being exposed. I have already executed him on the spot. As the Bishop of Judgment spoke, he respectfully took off Martin's backpack, opened it, and took out a purple gold book. The Genesis Bible. How dare Martin? The Pope was shocked and angry. Martin was the caretaker of Zhaixing Lu, and only those who were absolutely trusted by the Vatican could become the caretaker of Zhaixing Lu. Zhaixing Lu recorded all the important documents related to the Vatican, including the notes of the past popes, the records of the Takashi Hoshi, and the legends of the divine religion since the mythological era. The Pope carefully took the Genesis Bible and identified it carefully. After confirming that it was the Genesis Bible that was kept in Zhaixing Lu, he was relieved. Whoosh, 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 several strong gusts of wind blew, and the other red-robed bishops also rushed over. When they saw Martin lying in a pool of blood, they were all shocked and angry. What happened? Who killed Mr. Martin? It was me, the Bishop of Judgment said coldly. Judgment? When the world happened? What did Mr. Martin do that you won't even give him a chance to go to court? He stole the Genesis Bible and was caught red-handed. The Bishop of Judgment looked coldly at the Genesis Bible in the Pope's hand. That's impossible, a female cardinal shouted. There must be a misunderstanding. Mr. Martin was the former Pope's student, and his position is absolutely trustworthy. Judge, haven't you ever suspected that someone was trying to frame you? The Bible of creation was found in his bag. Could it be that I'm framing him? Also, I felt that something was wrong when we fought just now. Although Mr. Martin was the former Pope's student, his Takashi Hoshi was extremely weak. However, he is now as strong as me. Don't you think it's strange? Oh, isn't Mr. Martin only at the Nebula realm? Also, don't forget that the Saintess was attacked by Lucy and fell into a deep sleep at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean for an entire year. However, during this time, there was another Saintess who was cultivating in the sacred region. This means that there is a spy in the sacred region who arranged everything. As soon as he said this, all the cardinals were speechless. Judge, can I ask you a question? Wang Lan suddenly asked. Mr. Wang Lan, please go ahead. How did you know that Mr. Martin stole the Genesis Bible? I remember that the Genesis Bible was always in Mr. Martin's backpack. Just half an hour ago, one of my subordinates was on duty outside the stargazing tower. He reported that Mr. Martin had left in a hurry. At that time, I didn't think much of it and went to the stargazing tower to check. However, I found that the Genesis Bible's seal had been opened, and the Genesis Bible was gone. I hurriedly chased after him and caught up with him. Before I could ask him anything, Mr. Martin suddenly attacked me. The two adjudicator knights who came with me can testify. Also, Mr. Martin's strength exceeded my expectations, so I concluded that he stole the Genesis Bible. Oh, I see. Then I have no more questions. That's impossible. The seal was set up by the former pope for a year. It can't be broken without the strength of an astral soul realm cultivator. Even if it was broken, there would be an earth-shattering commotion. But that's the truth. You can go to the stargazing tower and take a look. The seal has indeed disappeared. Chapter 664. The Bible of Creation was already taken out. What else was there to check? The divine seal must have been broken. But the fact that none of the 12 bishop palaces sent out any alarms was enough. Mr. Martin is the disciple of the former pope. He knows more about the former pope than anyone else. Mr. Martin may not be very powerful, but he is the #1 scholar in the nation of God. He knows all the secret and forbidden arts of the nation of God like the back of his hand. It seems that his mastery of the divine seal has reached a very profound level over the years. He can even break the divine seal without relying on great power and turn off the alarm system. This is all speculation. Let's go search Mr. Martin's house together. A bishop suggested. The group of red robes quickly went to Mr. Martin's mansion. Although Mr. Martin was a member of the clergy, he was not in an important position in the Holy See. His mansion was just a mansion. He could not open up a divine realm on his own. The holy knights began to search professionally. Soon, they found a hidden secret room in the basement of the villa. The secret room was still at the bottom of the basement. Entering the underground well, it was a secret room about 30 square meters in size. There were a few cultivation pods with flashing red lights in the underground secret room. The group got closer and their faces changed. Inside the incubation pod, there were babies who were about a month old. These children all had beautiful blonde hair. The display screen of the incubation pod was jumping with data. 38 days. The time and seconds were quickly flipping by. It really is Mr. Martin. Damn it. How dare he clone lives in secret? Is there enough evidence now? The bishop asked calmly. By the way, if you don't mind me asking, does Mr. Martin come home often? Wang Lan suddenly asked. Not often. He spends most of his time in the stargazing tower. Mr. Wang Lan, did you find anything unusual? Oh no. When we came in, we found a lot of dust in the mansion. It looks like it hasn't been cleaned in a long time. That's why I asked. Martin usually lives in the divine realm. He only comes back a few times a year. But now it seems that all of this is just an illusion. He has actually been secretly conducting forbidden experiments. Even those two angels are very likely his doing. The crowd retreated, and the Pope put the Bible of creation back into the stargazing tower and rearranged the enchantment with the help of the 12 bishops. Although this barrier wasn't as powerful as a divine seal, at least it wouldn't be broken silently. Wang Lan and Jiang Xinyu continued to stay in the Saintess Palace. Soon, Yulia returned with a female cardinal, the Cardinal of Love. Mr. Wang Lan, I think Mr. Martin may have been wronged," the Bishop of Charity said directly after seeing Wang Lan. "Previously, the Bishop of Light was wronged, and you were the one who cleared his name. This time, please investigate again and seek justice for Mr. Martin." "What makes you think Mr. Martin is wronged?" Bishop of Charity. "I'm Mr. Martin's student. I know him very well. His faith in God was incomparably pure, and he could not betray the teachings of God. Mr. Martin was not as untalented as the rumors said. In fact, he was a prodigy. He awakened his talent at the age of 6 and was later taken in as a disciple by the former pope. But for some reason, Mr. Martin only reached Nebula at the age of 24. Everyone thought he didn't have any achievements in the field of Takashi Hoshi. But Mr. Martin is a master in theory. Almost all the elites in the nation of God have been taught by Mr. Martin. And I have been with Mr. Martin for the longest time. It's been 10 years. Others may not know, but I know very well. Although Mr. Martin only reached Nebula at the age of 24, he reached Galaxia at 36 and Astral Sea at 60. Although he had to spend several times more time than others to break through each realm, he had always been working hard to become stronger and had never stopped. It's just that Mr. Martin doesn't care about fame and fortune, so he never revealed that he was no longer the Takashi Hoshi of Nebula. As for stealing the Genesis Bible, that's even more ridiculous. The former pope once gave the Genesis Bible to Mr. Martin to read. Mr. Martin can memorize the Genesis Bible, so why would he steal it? Last but not least, Mr. Martin is a late-stage Astral Sea Master, and the bishop is also a late-stage Astral Sea Master. How can the bishop kill Mr. Martin in such a short time? I'm even more suspicious of the bishop. If he can kill Mr. Martin so easily, why can't he capture him? Is it because he wants to silence him? Well, we're here to solve the mystery of Yulia's bloodline. This is... Wang Lan smiled bitterly. But Mr. Martin's death is related to Yulia's clone. This is related to Lucy. I believe in Mr. Wang Lan's ability. If we can get Lucy's whereabouts from the culprit. At this point, the atmosphere at the scene began to become silent. So no matter what, we'll have to rely on you. The Bishop of Benevolence bowed respectfully to Wang Lan and then retreated with small steps. Wang Lan. Yulia looked at Wang Lan hesitantly. Actually, I've always felt that Mr. Martin's case was a little strange. Everything went too smoothly, as if it was planned. You've already noticed the suspicious point? Could it really be the bishop? It's hard to say. The bishop's actions are all reasonable. And why would Mr. Martin go to the back garden for no reason? The Genesis Bible was indeed found in Mr. Martin's backpack, so there's nothing wrong with it. Mr. Martin's death may be suspicious, but it doesn't mean that he's innocent. It's just that I don't know why he stole the Genesis Bible. It shouldn't be because he wants to get his hands on the power of the divine artifact, right? Although the Genesis Bible is a divine artifact, it's mainly symbolic. It can also summon heaven and open the Garden of Eden. Yulia suddenly paused, and her eyes flashed with a light of thought. "Yulia, what's wrong?" Jiang Xinyu asked with concern. "I seem to have heard someone say that he wanted to summon the Garden of Eden. Let me think. Right, I heard it from Lucy when I was unconscious after he caught me. He wanted to summon the Garden of Eden, and the Garden of Eden can only be summoned through the Genesis Bible. Could this be Mr. Martin's motive for stealing the Genesis Bible? He went to the back mountain to give the Genesis Bible to Lucy, but the bishop found Mr. Martin suspicious and found the cultivation pod in the basement of Mr. Martin's house that revealed the aura of someone else. Yulia, let's start with the bishop first. Okay, but it's too late tonight. You should rest early. We'll start the investigation tomorrow morning. Then Xinyu and I will go rest. Gigi, lead Wang Lan and Jiang Xinyu to the guest room to rest. If you have any needs, you can tell Gigi directly. Don't be polite, just treat it as your own home. The next morning, Wang Lan and the other two went to find the bishop. After knowing the purpose of Wang Lan and the other two's visit, the bishop's face suddenly became abnormally pale. Your Highness Saintus, Mr. Wang Lan, you're suspecting me of framing Mr. Martin. Since that's the case, I will resign from my position as the bishop and accept your investigation. Bishop, don't be agitated. We just want to investigate the truth, Not that we're suspecting you. There are still many suspicious points behind this matter. Yulia said indifferently. Suspicious points? What suspicious points? The suspicious point is that since Mr. Martin had the strength of a Starsea realm, how could he be killed by me in one strike? The suspicious point is whether or not I was hiding my strength and whether or not I wanted to silence him. So it seems that the bishop has also noticed the suspicious point. Wang Lan smiled faintly. But the seal on the divine art has indeed been broken, and the Genesis Bible has indeed disappeared. What was Martin doing in the deserted back garden at dusk? When I appeared in front of him, he didn't even give me a word of explanation before attacking first. It's not that I didn't give him a chance to explain, but he didn't give me a chance. What about the person who found Martin suspicious? How did he find it suspicious? Logically speaking, with Martin's high status, shouldn't he be able to walk around freely in the sanctuary? The back garden isn't a forbidden area in the sanctuary. There's nothing suspicious about him going there to relax, right? The person who found Martin suspicious was the holy knight on duty outside, Zhai Xinglu. His original words were that he felt something was wrong. When Martin suspiciously left Zhai Xinglu, he felt something was wrong. Then why didn't he stop Martin on the spot and report it to you instead? Martin is the caretaker of Zhai Xinglu. He goes in and out of Zhai Xinglu every day, and with his high status, he didn't dare to stop Martin and interrogate him on the spot. But after that, he felt more and more suspicious. Just as I came back from outside, he reported it to me. What about the Holy Knight? I want to ask him some questions in person. Soon, the Holy Knight on duty outside Zhai Xinglu was brought in front of Wang Lan. Mr. Marvin, were you the one who found Mr. Martin suspicious? Yes. How did you find Mr. Martin suspicious? How did you find him suspicious? It's a feeling I can't describe. I felt that Martin's expression was strange yesterday, and his behavior was also very strange. But I can't pinpoint exactly what was strange about him. What about you? Did you also have that feeling? Wang Lan asked the others. We didn't have that feeling. When Marvin said that, I laughed at him for being overly suspicious. I didn't expect Mr. Martin to really have a problem. Wang Lan frowned. After a long time, Wang Lan suddenly shook his head. Marvin, I want to check your memories to see what was strange about Mr. Martin yesterday. Oh, okay. Marvin glanced at Yulia and the adjudicator bishop, and after getting their tacit approval, he agreed. Cooperate with my spirit power. Don't try to resist. As long as you cooperate, the spirit examine won't harm your brain. Following Wang Lan's control, his spirit power sank into Marvin's mind. Marvin's memories appeared before Wang Lan's eyes like a slide. Suddenly, Wang Lan's spirit power was attacked by a strange spirit power. The sudden attack almost injured Wang Lan's mind. Fortunately, Wang Lan's spirit power was extremely high, and his spirit imprint was also at the peak of the current era. After resisting a wave of spirit power, he instantly counterattacked and defeated that spirit power. Chapter 665. Bang! A shockwave rose up as Wang Lan and that holy knight called Marvin took a step back. This unforeseen event startled Jiang, Sinew, and the others, and they hurriedly surrounded them. There's a strand of spirit power in Marvin's mind. Someone altered Marvin's willpower. What? So Marvin thinks that Mr. Martin is being manipulated? The adjudicating bishop shouted, his expression changing. What happened to me? Marvin shook his head absent-mindedly. Marvin, who planted a willpower in your mind? Who? The adjudicating bishop excitedly shouted as he grabbed Marvin's collar. What? Willpower? I don't know. Marvin shouted with a frightened expression. Adjudicating bishop, don't ask him. Since such a secret willpower could be left in his mind, it wouldn't be difficult to implant it without anyone noticing. Wang Lan indifferently said, How about this, Marvin? I only broke through the willpower in your mind. Let me check your memories again. Marvin once again returned to Wang Lan with an uneasy expression. The current situation seemed to indicate something he didn't dare to think about. It seemed that he had triggered a very important matter. Using the same trick once again, Wang Lan invaded Marvin's memories. This time, the flashback unfolded smoothly. After a long time, Wang Lan let go of Marvin's head. Marvin, you can go back. After going back, rest a lot. Your thoughts might be a bit sluggish these past few days, but it doesn't matter. You'll be fine after a few days of rest. After the few holy nights left, Wang Lan's expression suddenly became serious. Wang Lan, what did you see? Yulia nervously asked. In Marvin's memory, the scene of Mr. Martin leaving Star-Plucking Tower was the deepest. But in my opinion, Martin's words and actions weren't suspicious. I only felt suspicious because Marvin's memories were tampered with. So Mr. Martin is really innocent? Then, what's up with the creation Bible in his bag? The adjudicating bishop's face suddenly became deathly pale, cold sweat dripping down his forehead. No, there is something wrong with Martin. Wang Lan's eyes flickered. Although Marvin didn't notice anything strange at the time, I noticed a detail. Mr. Martin was indeed carrying a bag when he left Jiaxing Lu, but I don't think the Genesis Bible was in his bag. Wang Lan raised his head slightly. He could tell if there was anything in the bag from the way the bag swayed when she walked. The Genesis Bible was not an ordinary paper book, nor was it a thin piece of paper. Every page of the Genesis Bible was made of gold, and each book weighed at least 5 kilograms. Such a heavy bag was enough to tighten the straps of the bag. But in Marvin's memory, Mr. Martin's bag was very loose when he left. What? So Mr. Martin didn't steal the Creation Bible? The bishop's face turned even paler, and his voice trembled. That's not it. If the Genesis Bible had already been stolen, how could the caretaker of Jiaxing Lu not know? Moreover, I suddenly thought of another possibility. The divine seal was opened without alarming the 12 zodiacs. Could it be because Martin himself held the key to opening the divine seal? He could easily open the seal and take out the Bible? This, Yulia and the others hadn't thought of this question, but now that it was mentioned, it was quite possible. Martin was the former pope's proud student, and the former pope had given the Genesis Bible to Marvin to study. He was also the caretaker of Jiaxing Lu, so it was reasonable for the pope to give the method to open the divine seal to Martin. Thus, I speculated on another possibility. Martin didn't steal the Genesis Bible, but wanted to get it back. Shouldn't the books in Jiaxing Lu be borrowed? But the Genesis Bible is the nation's artifact. How could it be borrowed? The bishop immediately frowned. There are always exceptions. The reason Martin went to the back garden might be because the other side had agreed to return the Genesis Bible there, and the other side set up a trap for Martin to kill him. After the other side returned the book, he was caught red-handed by the bishop. Martin definitely thought that his deal had been discovered and chose to resist before being killed by the bishop. Then, why would the other side want to kill Martin? It might be to silence him, or for some other reason. Then who did Mr. Martin have the best relationship with? So good that Martin was willing to take such a huge risk to lend the Genesis Bible to the other side? The bishop pondered. There are many people who had a good relationship with Mr. Martin, but the only one worthy of Mr. Martin lending the Genesis Bible is the former light bishop. But the former light bishop is already dead. Who else could it be besides the former light bishop? Or the bishop of mercy? She had the highest status among Martin's students. But her relationship with Martin was still that of a teacher and student. Martin wouldn't go so far as to violate the doctrine for her. Sir Bishop, let's look around this clue. This person must be someone you are very familiar with. The bishop was mainly in charge of investigating the church's higher-ups, while Wang Lan was in charge of investigating everything Martin left behind, including his notes and diaries, hoping to find some useful clues. As he flipped through Martin's notes, Wang Lan quickly confirmed his guess. Yulia, you see, Martin has been trying to solve the creation code in the Bible for the past 2 years. Do you know what this creation code does? The creation code, according to legend, is a forbidden technique sealed by God, also known as God's Forbidden Zone. God's Forbidden Zone can summon the gate of heaven and lead the Garden of Eden to descend. Mr. Martin was a devout believer, and as a devout believer, entering heaven is our lifelong wish. Maybe Mr. Martin wanted to obtain God's forbidden zone to enter heaven. I remember the Pope said that the former Pope had successfully opened the gate of heaven and entered heaven with the saints. He did say that. Since the former Pope had successfully entered heaven, why didn't he leave this forbidden technique behind? Maybe the former Pope had his own reasons. Why don't we ask the Pope again? The three left the Saint's palace and went to the palace again. After the Pope heard Wang Lan's intention, he let out a long sigh. Because heaven has become hell. The Pope's words sent chills down Wang Lan and the other two's spines. This was what the Pope told me in private before he returned. 20 years ago, he wanted to summon the Garden of Eden back and let the most devout believer live in the Garden of Eden. However, when he and the Saintess stepped into the Garden of Eden, all he saw was barren land and ruins. The once magnificent and miraculous buildings had all collapsed, and the angels that people worshipped had turned into skeletons. If this was the legendary heaven, the divine religion's faith would crumble instantly. Just as Lucy had said, the Empyrean gods had fallen 10,000 years ago. God's resurrection after 7 days was a lie we told because we didn't want to believe that God had fallen. I see. Mr. Martin also saw the Pope opening the gate of heaven, right? Entering heaven has become his life's goal. The Pope was afraid that his disciples' faith would crumble, so he didn't tell him the truth. That's right. Martin had met the Pope many times to obtain God's forbidden zone. His piety, knowledge, and upbringing were all recognized by the entire divine realm. The Pope had no choice but to give him the Genesis Bible. If Martin could solve the creation code, it would mean that he was recognized by God. I see. This means that the person who lent the Genesis Bible to Martin must have claimed that he could solve the creation code. However, Martin had been immersed in this field for more than 10 years. Who would know the creation code better than him? And who would make Martin believe it? Just then, Wang Lan's phone vibrated. He picked up his phone and saw that it was a link sent by Xiao AI. Wang Lan clicked on the link and saw that it was an email. Suddenly, Xiao AI sent another message. These are the emails between Martin and a person called Thunder's Wrath discussing the creation code. Although they were deleted, I still managed to retrieve them from the email server. I'm investigating the identity of Thunder's Wrath. I'll be able to find it soon. Seeing this message, Wang Lan couldn't help but praise Xiao AI in her heart. Xiao AI's assist was beautiful. As soon as Wang Lan speculated that there was a second person working on the creation code with Martin, Xiao AI immediately sent the relevant evidence. After waiting patiently for a few minutes, the phone vibrated again. A picture appeared on the interface of the phone. Seeing this picture, Yulia's expression changed. The Thunder's Bishop? Is he the Thunder's Bishop? He might be the person who has close contact with Martin. The Thunder's Bishop is mainly responsible for the technological development of the nation of God. Every bishop is in charge of a field. He rarely returns to the sacred realm and rarely goes to the stargazing tower. How could he be in contact with Martin? I don't know. Although there are emails with Martin, this does not prove that Martin lent him the Genesis Bible. What does it prove that Martin is involved with him? Since the Thunder's Bishop is a suspect, I don't believe that he didn't leave any traces behind. Investigate the Thunder's Bishop. If it really is him, we should be able to find something. I'll leave this to Mr. Wang Lan. Yulia, you'll be in charge of assisting Mr. Wang Lan. If you have any difficulties, just tell me. I'll support you unconditionally. This Pope was much easier to talk to than the previous ones. He was also much more tolerant of the nation of God's governance. Soon, all the information about the Thunder's Bishop was gathered in Wang Lan's hands. With Xiao AI's help, this information was quickly sorted out. The Thunder's Bishop had been a genius since he was young. This was something he had a lot in common with Wang Lan. The Thunder's Bishop did not give up on his studies just because he had awakened his Takashi Hoshi talent. In fact, his achievements in his studies were becoming more and more profound. He was not inferior to Martin at all. When he was 30 years old, he even published many papers on the origin of life, which caused a huge stir in the biology world. The medical skills of the nation of God's Takashi Hoshi were the best in the world. Their medical technology was also the best in the world. In the nation of God, there were countless research institutes for genetic engineering. There were as many as 30 research institutes that the Thunder's Bishop was in charge of. However, 4 of them were personally funded by the Thunder's Bishop. They were his private research institutes. Chapter 666. Wang Lan looked at the data in front of him and asked, "The Bishop of Thunder has invested almost 10 billion in this company in the past 2 years. What is he doing?" "I know about this plan," the bishop said after looking at it. "The nation of God has always been the most advanced in life technology, but it has been surpassed by the Jade State in recent years. This is because Ms. Wang Qi has been left far behind by the Jade State. The Bishop of Thunder has invested a lot of money in the hope of triggering another explosion of life technology in the nation of God. Although there is an effect, it is not obvious. Let's sneak into his company tonight and check it out." Wang Lan had a feeling that the Bishop of Thunder was doing something sneaky. The 10 billion was definitely not just for the sake of stimulating the development of life technology. At this point in the investigation, the Bishop of Thunder was the prime suspect. The only thing they lacked was evidence. It was late at night, but the night in the nation of God was shrouded in holy light. It was very pure and beautiful. As a research company under the Bishop of Thunder, his security was very good. Armed guards patrolled the place 24 hours a day. There were surveillance cameras, detection enchantments, and astral force detection technology everywhere in the company. Under such tight security, it was not an exaggeration to say that the life technology company was impregnable. However, these defenses could only stop normal Takashi Hoshi. Wang Lan was not normal. In the face of a master like Wang Lan, these defenses were useless. It was very easy for Wang Lan to sneak into the company with Jiang Xinyu and Yulia. He let Xiao AI out and waited patiently for half an hour. After that, Xiao AI successfully obtained the highest authority in the company. Student Wang Lan. These are the research projects of the company over the years. Wang Lan was looking at a holographic screen in front of him. A list of projects was listed. Each of them was a world-class public relations problem. Each of them was a gold-swallowing beast. No wonder they had to invest so much money. Compared to the Bishop of Thunder's ambition, this was not enough. However, these projects were all legal. Could it be that the Bishop of Thunder was investing so much money for the development of life technology in the nation of God? Check their financial statements. Are there any flaws? Yes, please wait a moment. About 10 minutes later, the funds required by each project were listed in front of Wang Lan. The funds invested by the Bishop of Thunder also matched up. From the looks of it, there's nothing wrong with this biotech company. The Bishop of Thunder has indeed been staying in the company recently. Could it be that the Bishop of Thunder is addicted to research and development? Wang Lan scratched his chin and asked doubtfully. Beep, beep, beep. The notebook in his hand suddenly lit up. Wang Lan looked up, and a three-dimensional model suddenly appeared on the holographic projection in front of him. Student Wang Lan, I found the blueprints of this research institute. However, the blueprints are very different from the layout of the hydropower system. After my calculations, I came to a final conclusion and constructed a three-dimensional model. Quick, praise me. You don't need this kind of empty thing, but it's really well done. There was a secret basement under the research institute. It was quite spacious. There was no need to find the entrance. Wang Lan and the other two slowly sank into the ground as if they were submerged in water. After sinking for about 100 meters, they entered a secret underground room that was covered in special materials and had an astral barrier. There were about 10 incubation pods placed in the secret underground room. They were exactly the same as the ones found at Martin's house. Wang Lan and the other two walked towards one of the incubation pods. There was a girl that looked about 16 or 17 years old inside. She looked exactly like Yulia. The screen on the side showed that she was 16 years and 8 months old. There was also a countdown of 300 hours. It seems that the two angels were created using this method. Wang Lan looked at the incubation pods around them. If they could replicate 10 of them at once, they could easily take down an intermediate country. You're wrong. The two angels were not created using this method. A voice suddenly sounded. In the silent and empty space, the sound of footsteps echoed. In the dark tunnel, the Bishop of Thunder, dressed in a red divine robe, slowly walked over. The Bishop of Thunder was very handsome. He wore black-rimmed glasses and looked very elegant. It was Wang Lan's first time seeing the Bishop of Thunder. He found it hard to believe that he was an expert at the peak of the Starsea realm. He felt that this scholarly, handsome uncle was more like a scholar. He should be holding a thesis and giving a speech at an academic gathering. He should not be wearing a battle robe and waving a sword while leading the holy knights to charge and break through enemy lines. It was said that God was fair. However, God's preference for the Bishop of Thunder was almost equal to Wang Lan's preference. He already had a face that could be used to make a living, but he was also given a high IQ that normal people could not hope to achieve. Not only was he handsome and smart, but Takeshi Hoshi's talent was also so high that others could only look up to him. The previous pope had even said more than once that if the Bishop of Thunder was not so frivolous and used the time he spent on scientific research to increase his strength, he might have already stepped into the Star Soul realm and become one of the top experts in the world. However, for such a genius, one really could not ask for too much. Even if he only used half or even one-third of the time other people spent on cultivation, the Bishop of Thunder's strength quickly reached a height that others of the same age could only look up to. It was said that the end of science was theology. However, before coming into contact with the realm of theology, the belief of scientists was all knowledge. The Bishop of Thunder should be the one with the least faith among the 12 bishops. However, since he could become a bishop, his faith must be firmer than the average person. It was just that it was easier for him to waver. It really is you. Yulia looked coldly at the Bishop of Thunder, who was walking out of the darkness. Why did you betray your faith? Why did you frame Mr. Martin? Frame? The Bishop of Thunder shook his head. I did not frame Mr. Martin. In order to obtain the truth of the creation code, he went against the doctrine and lent the creation Bible to me. Then, he was caught red-handed by the adjudicator. He failed to resist and was killed. He deserved it, okay? All I did was to expose this secret. Why did you do that? What other reason could there be? We are accomplices. If one of us is exposed, the other cannot escape. The best way to keep a secret is, the people who know the secret are all dead. It is such a simple principle. Do you still need to ask why? You still don't repent. Yulia looked at the Bishop of Thunder, who had a faint smile on his face, and shook her head silently with a sigh. Repent? Why should I repent? What did I do wrong? The Bishop of Thunder spread his hands and laughed. The gods have long fallen. Resurrection in 7 days is a big lie. Why should I give my faith to a dead god? Although Lucy had betrayed heaven, he was the only god who had survived. If we want to enter heaven, who else can we believe in if not him? Believe in you? Lord Yulia? You have been bathed in the holy light since you were young. How can you have such thoughts? Lucian wants to destroy human civilization and turn humans into beasts again. Don't you know? I don't care about that. I just want to enter heaven. The Bishop of Thunder smiled slightly. Heaven, that is the dream place that has been instilled in our minds since the first day I accepted the teachings of the Church. There are no worries, no pain, no birth, old age, sickness, and death. All of people's needs and all of their fantasies can be realized in heaven. This is a place that the gods use to attract believers, but they don't let us pursue it. In the past, I only thought that heaven was in our hearts. But 20 years ago, the Pope personally summoned heaven. He even brought the Holy Maiden into heaven. He doesn't want to go to heaven, but he doesn't let others enter heaven. He is such a selfish person. I thought that I would never be able to enter heaven in my life. But Lucian's appearance 2 years ago reignited the fire of hope in me. As long as I risk my soul to Lucian, the moment he enters heaven, I will also enter heaven with him. Even if you kill me now, my soul will return to Lucian's side. I didn't abandon my faith. I just changed the target of my faith. That, Bishop of Thunder, you should be the top scientist in the world, right? Wang Lan coughed softly and asked. Of course. My achievements in the field of life engineering and genetic engineering are not below your aunt, Madame Wang Qi. Then if Lucian wants to destroy human civilization, he must first destroy the people who have mastered the knowledge of technological civilization. You seem to be one of them, right? Don't you think it's a bit hasty? It's not the same. My soul has already been given to Lucian. When Lucian becomes a true god and obtains divine authority, I will be his subordinate. I, who have left my mortal body, do not belong to humans." Soon, the Bishop of Thunder found his way back and retorted, "Forget it. I don't want to argue with you about these useless things. I only have one question. Where is Lucian?" "No comment. Mr. Wang Lan, I know that you are powerful and that you are the top spiritual imprint master in the world. But if you want to search my memories, then don't even think about it. I'm also a bishop who controls the kingdom of heaven. I can easily change memories. Spiritual imprints have no effect on me." Suddenly, the Bishop of Thunder's voice stopped. His body instantly became distorted. Wang Lan's expression changed. He hurriedly used his divine power to lock onto the Bishop of Thunder's space and drag him out of the space. A scream was heard. Blood exploded into a bloody mist. The Bishop of Thunder disappeared, and a bloody arm fell from the void. "Is that Lucian?" Yulia came to Wang Lan and asked. "Other than him, who else could save someone in front of us without even showing their face? Seems like Lucian is also in the kingdom of God. Let's go back and report to the Pope." The three returned to the palace. The Pope was already anxiously waiting for them. Since the Bishop of Thunder has already given his soul to Lucian, it means that the one who wants to find heaven is not the Bishop of Thunder, but Lucian. According to the Creation Bible, only by obtaining divine authority can one become a true god. The divine authority of a god is in heaven. Lucian's next step is to become a god. After Wang Lan and Yulia told the Pope the result of their speculation, the Pope came to a conclusion. Chapter 667. Become a god? He's a 16-winged fallen angel. Isn't he a god? Wang Lan, you don't know this, but a god can only be considered a true god after obtaining divine authority and controlling the laws of the gods. Lucy now has the power of a god, but he's not a true god yet. He can't control nature with his words, nor can he control the changes of the seasons, nor can he destroy or create worlds with a single word. A god can destroy the world with a single word. Wang Lan asked in shock. Of course. For example, you know Gaia, Mother Earth. She can cause earthquakes and volcanic eruptions with a single thought. The Emperor of the Sea can flood the earth, and the God of Weather can make the seasons cold. This is divine authority. And although Lucy can shatter the earth with a single punch and cause earthquakes, he can't control the heavens and earth. Then we can't let Lucy find out where heaven is. Boom! A loud explosion suddenly rang out, and the entire god's domain shook violently. Wang Lan disappeared the moment the explosion occurred, and when he reappeared in the void, he saw a figure disappearing into the void vortex. "Lucy!" Wang Lan roared and threw a punch at the figure in the sky. His punch blasted into the void, causing violent ripples to appear in the space. A few black feathers fell from the sky and disappeared as soon as they landed. "Wang Lan, did you see someone?" Yulia's reaction was slower than Wang Lan's, and when she came out, Lucy had already disappeared. "It's Lucy," Wang Lan shouted with a serious expression. "Lucy, what's he doing in the divine realm?" Or, he was hiding in the divine realm all along, and he left because the Bishop of Thunder was executed? "I don't know. Wang Lan, Yulia, come here quickly." The Pope's voice rang out from the second palace of the divine realm. The two figures flashed and appeared in the sky above the Bishop of Mercy's palace. At this moment, the Bishop of Mercy's palace had disappeared. Apart from a dozen remaining stone pillars that told Wang Lan that there was once a glorious palace here, the rest were long gone. In the center of the palace, there was a pool of blood that looked like a rose petal on a jade plate. Wang Lan and Yulia descended from the sky. The scene in front of them made Wang Lan and Yulia's pupils violently shrink. An emotion called anger rose from the bottom of his heart and rushed straight to his mind. The Cardinal of Mercy knelt on the ground with her palms together in a praying posture. However, her chest was wide open, and there was a terrifying wound through her heart. "Lucy, you bastard, I'm going to tear you to shreds." A red-robed cardinal gnashed his teeth and roared angrily, veins bulging on his forehead. Why did Lucy want to kill the Bishop of Love? Wang Lan's voice rang out, attracting the attention of all the bishops. The nation of God is the headquarters of the divine religion. As a traitor of heaven, Lucy is our enemy. There's nothing suspicious about him killing us, right? The new bishop said softly. But why the bishop of charity? He even made the bishop of love look like he was praying? Wang Lan. Yulia suddenly pulled Wang Lan's sleeve. Our divine religion's training method is inherited from the ancient divine religion. It's a little different from the normal Takashi Hoshi. Other than forming the Star Palace, we can also form spirit essence in our hearts. Spirit essence has the same characteristics as the Star Palace. It's the source of our divine star power. The light element is very rare, but there are many in the nation of God. This is because most of our light elements are not naturally awakened, but cultivated. Seems like Lucy is already planning to declare war on the nation of God. He killed the Bishop of Love today, and we might be next. A red-robed cardinal said with a worried face. What are you afraid of? If he dares to come, we'll fight him to the death. Fight? How? The Bishop of Love was killed by him, and our sacred Star Palace formation is missing a part. With Lucy's strength, our chances of winning are not high. Everyone, don't worry. Wang Lan's voice rang out. I have a move from Goddess Ho too that can kill Lucy. As long as Lucy appears in front of me, he will be dead for sure. It's just that Lucy is too sneaky, and he won't dare to face me. After hearing Wang Lan's words, a look of joy appeared on the faces of the cardinals. That's great. The 12 of us will be on standby 24 hours a day. If Lucy dares to come again, we will do our best to stop him. We may not be able to fight Lucy, but we can still hold him back. The reason Lucy was able to successfully ambush the Bishop of Love was because the sacred was not prepared. No one would have thought that Lucy would dare to sneak into the sacred region and launch a sneak attack without any face. In the past, Lucy still had the face of a god. Even if he was arrogant, even if he made the entire world his enemy, he still came in the form of a hero and declared war on the humans. Even if the humans fired a nuclear bomb at him, he could have dodged it, but he still chose to take it head-on. But now, perhaps because he had become a fallen angel, Lucy didn't even care about his face anymore. As a god, he dared to ambush a mortal. It was a disgrace to a god. The night passed peacefully. Wang Lan and Jiang Xinyu got up and washed up. Morning. Yulia had probably been up for a long time. She walked out from the corner of the garden. Morning. You slept so late last night and woke up so early in the morning? Jiang Xinyu replied with a smile. Don't you know that Takashi Hoshi don't need to sleep? Yulia asked in surprise. Jiang Xinyu was slightly startled. She turned her head and glanced at Wang Lan. Takashi Hoshi needed to sleep, but as the Takashi Hoshi's level increased, the need for sleep would gradually decrease. By the time they reached the Starsea realm, they could basically rely on their astral power to maintain their sleep. Starsea realm Takashi Hoshi rarely chose to sleep. They would use their sleep time to train their astral power. But Wang Lan never seemed to need to train his astral power. He slept every night. Ever since she got together with Wang Lan, she would sleep after exercising every day. Gradually, Jiang Xinyu forgot that Starsea realm cultivators didn't need to sleep. You guys are so close. When are you getting married? I don't have any plans yet. Maybe in a year or two. Really? When you guys get married, how about I be Sinyu's bridesmaid? The saintess of the godly kingdom is going to be my bridesmaid? Then I'm probably the most prestigious bride in the world. Since ancient times, no one has ever received such treatment, right? It's not about status. We're friends, aren't we? Of course. Then it's a promise. Don't stand me up. While they were talking, a beam of light suddenly flew towards the saintess palace. Wang Lan looked up. The beam of light instantly fell, revealing the figure of the Bishop of Judgment. Saintess, Wang Lan, something happened. The Bishop of Thunder is dead. Who? The Bishop of Thunder? Wasn't he saved by Lucy? How'd he die? He was found in a hotel outside of the city. Let's go take a look, Wang Lan quickly said. The Bishop of Judgment immediately led the way, and the four flew towards their destination. They landed from the sky. The hotel's surroundings had already been cleared by the holy knights. "Sir, please come in." Wang Lan followed the Bishop of Judgment into the hotel. The Pope and a few other cardinals had already arrived. They stood in the room in silence. There was still a pungent smell of blood in the room. The Bishop of Thunder was kneeling in the room naked. He only had one hand left, but it was still stubbornly praying. There was a hole in his chest. His heart was already gone. It's the same as the Bishop of Love. Did Lucy do it? But why did Lucy kill the Bishop of Thunder? If killing the Bishop of Love was to declare war on us, then why did he kill the Bishop of Thunder? Didn't the Bishop of Thunder already give his soul to Lucy? Wang Lan came in front of the Bishop of Thunder. The Bishop of Thunder's head was raised. His eyes were not closed. The expression on his face was still frozen. It seems like Lucy didn't kill the Bishop of Love to eliminate dissidents or declare war on the nation of God. Wang Lan straightened his body and said slowly, "Look at the Bishop of Thunder's face. Where's the fear and anger of being killed?" His face was full of excitement. How could he be excited when his heart was ripped out? Either he was a pervert, or he could satisfy his purpose. I remember the Bishop of Thunder said that he had already given his soul to Lucy. Even if he died, his soul would still follow Lucy. Death was not death to him. That means Lucy needs the Bishop of Thunder's heart. The Bishop of Thunder's heart and the Bishop of Love's heart are useful to Lucy. Yulia quickly asked, "I'm afraid it's not just the two of them. It's the hearts of all the cardinals." "Not good. Gather all the cardinals. Lucy wants to take them out one by one." Wang Lan quickly yelled. The Pope immediately took out his phone and sent orders to the other cardinals. Soon, the rest of the cardinals arrived. They were not ambushed by Lucy, as Wang Lan imagined. None of them were missing. From now on, all the cardinals are not allowed to act alone, and they are not allowed to be more than 1 kilometer away from me. Otherwise, I won't be able to stop Lucy from assassinating you in time. Wang Lan's orders were the Pope's orders, and it was related to their lives. No one had any objections. Then, the group left the hotel together and returned to the Holy Realm. The Holy Light Circle was open all day. 2 cardinals had already had their hearts ripped out. No one knew who the next target would be. On this day, Wang Lan's nerves were also in a tense state. Lucy took a hit from Goddess Hutu, and Wang Lan did not see what happened in the end. However, from Hutu's words, Lucy should have been hurt quite badly. He just didn't know if his realm had dropped. This day was another peaceful day. The next morning, the first thing Wang Lan did was to check if the cardinals of the various palaces were safe. After confirming that no one had been attacked, Wang Lan let out a long sigh of relief. When it was close to noon, Yulia suddenly rushed in from outside. Seeing Yulia's state, Wang Lan's heart immediately jumped. No way, right? Could it be that a bishop was ambushed by Lucy? I just received news from Roche. Yesterday afternoon, the state preceptor of Roche, an expert at the astral soul realm, was attacked by a mysterious expert. From the description of the witnesses, the attacker should be Lucy. The two of them fought fiercely and went further and further away. Roche hurriedly organized experts to reinforce them, but by the time they found the state preceptor, he had already been killed. His body was placed in a prayer and his heart was dug out. Does that state preceptor also cultivate the cultivation method of the nation of God? Wang Lan hurriedly asked. No, he's the same as most Takashi Hoshi. That's strange. What is Lucy trying to do? His target is not just the nation of God. Is he trying to assassinate all the strong human beings? He doesn't dare to come to me, so he's picking on the weak. Does he have any shame? Jiang Xinyu looked at Wang Lan strangely. Perhaps only he would dare to call an astral soul realm expert a weakling. Chapter 668. The White Terror continued to spread across the entire world. That afternoon, another 2 half-step astral soul realm elites had their hearts dug out and died. They belonged to different countries and had no contact at all. There are 20 astral soul realm elites and 20 half-step astral soul realm elites in the world. There are 40 of them in total. So far, Lucy has already killed 3. We still don't know why Lu Shi is hunting the Takashi Hoshi elites, but we must stop him from continuing. In the International Security Committee, 5 new members of the committee said in an emergency meeting, "The problem is that Lu Shi is too strong. Plus, he's hiding in the dark while the Takashi Hoshi elites are out in the open. Lu Shi also has spatial powers. If he wants to kill elites, no one can stop him. There are only 40 elites in total. If this continues, they'll all be killed by him. The only thing we could do now is to let the Takashi Hoshi elites hide. Those Takashi Hoshi elites are all prideful. Asking them to hide, I'm afraid it'll be hard for them to accept. Being hunted or hiding, we have to choose one, right?" Immediately, the International Security Committee announced to the world that all Takashi Hoshi elites above the Astral Sea realm should hide temporarily and not expose their whereabouts. Lu Shi was now crazily hunting down the Takashi Hoshi elites. Before finding a way to stop Lu Shi, the Takashi Hoshi elites should try not to expose themselves. Once this announcement was made, it caused a lot of Takashi Hoshi elites to fight back. Among the half-step astral soul realm elites, which one of them was afraid of death? In their words, after experiencing life and death in their lives, they were already indifferent to life and death. If Lu Shi wanted to come, then they would fight. Nation of God, Saintess Palace. Wang Lan was still thinking hard about the information in front of him. This was all information he got from the Bishop of Thunder's residence. However, he had already flipped through it many times, but he still couldn't find out why Lu Shi wanted to kill the Takashi Hoshi elites. If Lu Shi only wanted to kill the human Takashi Hoshi elites, then he didn't need to kill the Bishop of Thunder and take his heart. Lu Shi's actions were definitely not as simple as eliminating the peak power of humanity. Wang Lan quickly watched the TV. It's the international channel. Yulia suddenly pushed open the door and said. As she spoke, Yulia picked up the remote control and turned on the TV. After switching to the international channel, it was a talk show from White Eagle. A weirdo wearing a ghost mask was sitting on a very cool-looking motorcycle, provoking the screen arrogantly. "Fallen angel Lucy, you traitor of heaven, trash of hell, do you know me? I'm your father's undead knight. White Eagle's superhero, Undead Knight. Weren't you hunting down the world's top Takashi Hoshi? Daddy is waiting for you here. If you have the guts, come and find me. Daddy will definitely stuff you back into hell." The audience kept whistling and cheering. The people of White Eagle liked this kind of superhero with a bad boy vibe. The Undead Knight was very popular in White Eagle. Through the TV, Wang Lan could even see that some of the audience fainted in the midst of the excited screams. Wang Lan's expression suddenly changed. "You really don't know how to write the word death?" As soon as he finished speaking, Wang Lan's body twisted slightly and disappeared instantly. When he was carrying out a mission in White Eagle, Wang Lan left a spatial coordinate in White Eagle. However, the spatial coordinate was still a few hundred kilometers away from the city where the Undead Knight was. The moment Wang Lan appeared, his body turned into a stream of light and rushed into the sky with a whoosh. "Lucy, I don't know if you can understand the TV. Maybe in your barbaric mind, you can't understand what this technology is. You even threatened to destroy the technological civilization and let humanity return to the barbaric era? You're an idiot. In my eyes, you're a gorilla, a stupid pig. Clap, clap, clap." Suddenly, there was a clear clap. The sound was not loud, but it was clearly transmitted to everyone's ears. The soft clap covered the screams and clamor. Everyone looked curiously in the direction of the clap. An extremely handsome young man with long black hair walked slowly onto the stage while clapping. And this scene was broadcasted live on TV to thousands of households. "Sir, please don't walk onto the stage casually. Sir, please." The young man waved his hand gently, and the host floated out like a balloon. All the security guards who were surrounding him stopped in their tracks and looked at the young man with horror. "You said it very well. It's really satisfying, seeing that you're so eager to invite me. Wouldn't it be rude if I didn't accept your invitation?" As he spoke, the young man's body was shrouded in a hazy, watery light. When the watery light disappeared, the young man's clothes had changed into a long black robe. Whoosh! With a soft sound, a large black wing suddenly appeared behind the young man's back. 8 pairs of wings were arranged in the shape of a butterfly's wings. It was gorgeous, beautiful, and sacred. The sound system on the stage suddenly sounded a pleasant, sacred sound. In the sacred sound, Lucy walked step by step toward the undead knight. The undead knight got down from the motorcycle with a solemn expression on his face. It's not convenient to make a move here. Where's it convenient? Up in the sky. The undead knight's voice fell, and his body rushed into the void and disappeared. Lucy smiled faintly. The wings on his back shook slightly, and he instantly chased after him. Boom! A terrifying fluctuation of star power came from afar. Wang Lan, who was flying at high speed, suddenly stopped. There was no need to elaborate on the words that came out of his mouth. There was only one general meaning. Lucy, don't be a bitch. You don't have the guts to fight me, so you pick on the weak ones? You want to become a god with this kind of attitude? Do you have the face to become a god? Even if you can become a god, no one will acknowledge you. If you have the guts, come to the nation of God and fight me. I'll be waiting for you 24/7. If you don't have the guts to come, then stay in the bird's nest and don't come out to embarrass yourself. A normal person would not be able to take this kind of provocation. Even if it was Wang Lan, he would have already jumped out to fight. But Lucy endured it. Not only did he endure it, but he also did not do anything for 3 consecutive days. However, just as the upper echelons of the world had time to catch their breath, Lucy's hunt began again. Another 4 top experts were killed in the safe house. Lucy even killed his way into the heavily protected military base and killed his target in a rain of bullets as if he was in an uninhabited land. He took out his heart and left. His arrogance completely angered the world, but at the same time, it was also extremely terrifying. In the face of absolute power, the world was helpless. There must be something that we didn't notice. Wang Lan looked at the photos of the experts that Lucy killed. They came from different countries, different races, and practiced different Takashi, Hoshi skills. All the appearances showed that Lucy killed them because they were very strong and were the top experts of the human race. But after throwing in the photo of the Thunder Bishop, it was so strange. The Thunder Bishop should not be in this group, but he was the second person to be killed by Lucy. What is it? Wang Lan turned on the computer and opened the folder that stored the life information of these people. In a trance, Wang Lan saw a string of numbers. In an instant, Wang Lan woke up with a start. November 16th, September 27th. These were the birthdays of the experts who were killed, but Wang Lan suddenly noticed that the birthdays of the 10 people who were killed were all different. Chapter 669. Wang Lan hurriedly pulled out the most basic information of the 10 people who were killed. Sure enough, these 10 people's birthdays were not in the same month. Although this did not mean anything, it was a thin clue. No matter how thin a clue was, it was still a clue. We have been trying to find a connection between them from their life experiences, but we neglected the most basic information. Wang Lan's voice attracted everyone's attention. Yulia looked over and was stunned when she saw Wang Lan circling the birthdays of these people. Different months? Is Lu Shi trying to gather all the experts born in 12 months? Jiang Xinyu asked curiously. No, it's the 12 zodiac signs, Yulia suddenly said. In our divine religion, different months represent different constellations. The 12 zodiac signs are the 12 constellations that revolve around the sun, and they're also the 12 pillars of the fate roulette. Then why did Lu Shi kill the experts of the 12 constellations? It should be some kind of sacrificial ceremony, the Pope said solemnly. Wang Lan, do you know why Zhai Xinglu is called Zhai Xinglu? Why is Zhai Xinglu in such an important position between the Pope's palace and the Saintess's palace? Why? Because in the mythological era, Zhai Xinglu's position was above the Saintess's and was almost equal to the Pope's. The Pope, as the representative of God in the human world, listened to God's will and preached to the human world. The high priest of Zhai Xinglu divined the stars in the sky to obtain God's will and foresee the future in advance. However, after the mythological era ended, The high priest's lineage gradually declined until it was completely lost 5,000 years ago. However, Zhaixing Lu has always been preserved. Among the stars in the night sky, the changes in the 12 zodiac signs are the most special, and the things that they can foretell are more important. Lu Shi is a god from 10,000 years ago, and it is very likely that he has the high priest's secret technique. He killed the experts of the different constellations to carry out some kind of sacrificial ceremony. However, the sacrificial ceremony can only be carried out at a specific time, at a specific place, and at a specific change in fate. I think that the 12 zodiac signs must be in a very special state now. Immediately inform the Weather Bureau to observe the situation of the 12 zodiac signs. The Pope immediately ordered. Yes. Now, only the Pisces and Gemini constellations have not been killed. Among all the half-step astral soul realm experts who are from these two constellations, a total of 5 people, including me and Emperor Bai, Yulia said solemnly. When Wang Lan heard this, he hurriedly took out his phone and dialed a number. The call was quickly connected. Bai Di, where are you? Is everything all right over there? I'm with Emperor Qing and the others, as well as Wisdom Sorjiang Xiao and the others. Don't worry, if Lu Shi dares to come, we won't be easy to deal with. Even if we can't beat him, we can make him scram back with injuries. Are you all in the capital? Yes. Move to my home in the capital. I've left a set of spatial coordinates there. If anything happens, I'll be able to get there immediately. Okay, no problem. But Wang Lan, why did you call me so suddenly? Did you find something? White Emperor, your constellation is Pisces, right? Constellation? How would I remember that? Why would a decent person care about a constellation? White Emperor said with a confused look. Then let me tell you, Lu Shi's killing order is based on constellations. He wants to kill all the Takashi Hoshi masters from 12 different constellations. He has already killed 10 people, so there are only 2 constellations left. Pisces, Gemini. Based on the information I have, you're a Pisces. So among the remaining Takashi Hoshi masters, as long as they are from these 2 constellations, they are very likely to be Lu Shi's target. Is that so? I'm actually a little scared, White Emperor said jokingly. Don't worry, as long as you stay at the place where I left the spatial coordinates, I'll be able to get there as soon as he appears. I'm afraid he won't come for me. I already know what you said. I'll be careful. If there's nothing else, I'll hang up first. You must be careful. If Lu Shi attacks, you must help me hold him back. Now Lu Shi is avoiding me. As long as you hold him back, I'll kill him. Among all the masters in the world, you're the only one who can fight Lu Shi head-on. After hanging up, the Weather Bureau's report came quickly. Just as the Pope had guessed, the position of the 12 zodiac signs was indeed very special. The 12 zodiac signs were arranged with the sun as the center. Although they were still moving slowly, the angle was infinitely close to 36 degrees. The 12 zodiac signs formed a regular circular plate. The whole world was on high alert for Lu Shi's sneak attack, but Lu Shi did not make a move for 3 consecutive days. Just as Wang Lan was extremely anxious, the latest news suddenly reached the Vatican. Lu Shi has made his move again. This time, it's a Pisces Peak Star Sea Realm Master and a Gemini Half-Step Astral Soul Realm Master. Damn it! Wang Lan angrily slammed his fist on the table after hearing the news. How do they protect him? Can't they even delay him? Why didn't they contact me immediately? Big countries are conceited. Without seeing Lu Shi's terror with their own eyes, many people will not believe it. Even if they believe it in their hearts, they will not understand Lu Shi's terror without experiencing it personally. Now that he has taken down the experts of the 12 zodiac signs, no one knows what Lu Shi is going to do next. However, Lu Shi's move this time is a little strange. He did not kill the 2 people on the spot. Instead, he used his spatial ability to take them away. Take them away! Yes, the previous 10 people all had their hearts ripped out. This time, it seems a little special. Woo woo woo. Suddenly, a mournful alarm sounded. Wang Lan's expression suddenly changed. His figure flashed, and he appeared in the void. In the sky above the sacred region, spatial energy wantonly rippled without any intention of hiding. In an instant, Yulia Jiang sinew rose from the ground and floated in the air with Wang Lan side by side. Wang Lan's expression was gloomy. He slowly raised his hand and the starry sky opened. A silver-white phoenix flew out from the star palace and floated above Wang Lan's head. In an instant, the phoenix disintegrated and the phoenix saint robe covered Wang Lan's body. The spatial fluctuations in the sky became stronger and stronger. Suddenly, a black dot appeared in the void. A black armored figure walked out from the void. The 8 pairs of wings on his back trembled slightly. Every time they trembled, the space seemed to turn into the surface of a lake as it was blown by the wind. "Long time no see. I heard you had a hard time looking for me?" Lu Shi smiled faintly and asked softly. "You also had a hard time hiding from me?" Wang Lan retorted. "Why aren't you hiding this time?" Lu Shi gently waved his hand. In the void, 2 corpses fell from the sky. These were the 2 experts that Lu Shi had taken away. "Since you issued a challenge to me, how can I not come? Do you really think I am afraid of you? Or do you think you're a match for me? Here, there is no Gaia to help you. There is also no goddess Hutu to save you. Unless the gods are resurrected, you will die today. Aren't you afraid? If you aren't, then why are you hiding from me?" Wang Lan laughed in disdain. "Arrogant." Boom! A ripple spread through the space. Wang Lan floated in the void motionlessly, allowing the space ripple to wash over his body. Everyone is of the space-time attribute. Who is afraid of who? In an instant, Wang Lan moved. His figure brought out after-images. With a horizontal slash, he slashed towards Lu Shi's chest. Just as the soul slasher was swung out, the blade shattered. But in an instant, the stars shone and the sword of light appeared in Wang Lan's hand. He slashed towards Lu Shi. Ding! Lu Shi gently raised a finger and blocked the edge of the Zanpakuto. Suddenly, Lu Shi's face changed. The soul slasher that blocked the attack passed through Lu Shi's finger and slashed towards Lu Shi's body. Lu Shi fiercely shot out a black spear towards Wang Lan's chest. Last time, this move nailed Wang Lan to the ground. But this time, the spear easily passed through Wang Lan's body. Wang Lan and Lu Shi brushed past each other. Their figures overlapped and separated. In an instant, Wang Lan turned around and slashed at Lu Shi's neck. Ding! The sword was still blocked by Lu Shi's strong body. Even the sword made of light could not hurt Lu Shi. It could not even cut off a strand of his hair. Boom! Wang Lan suddenly waved his hand and a holy flame blasted towards Lu Shi. But Lu Shi's figure disappeared in an instant. When he reappeared, he was behind Wang Lan. His hand turned into a blade and slashed at Wang Lan's head. However, it was as if the saber had struck a shadow. Wang Lan retreated to the side unscathed. Lu Shi looked at Wang Lan in confusion. What space-time ability is this? You can change between illusion and reality at will. Take a guess. Little did he know that Lu Shi's slash had split the sea in the space of divine power into 2. But even if Lu Shi had the power of a god, he could not destroy an independent space. A space that was not affected by any space could not be destroyed in principle. Lu Shi, I will kill you today. A roar rang out. The 12 palaces suddenly lit up and 12 pillars of light shot into the sky. The Pope flew into the sky with the Genesis Bible in his hand. With a light toss, the Genesis Bible in his hand unfolded above the Pope's head. The golden Bible emitted the light of the sun. Great word of truth, seal. You're embarrassing yourself with a fake Genesis Bible. Even if you don't think it's embarrassing, I do. Lu Shi sneered and reached out his hand. The Genesis Bible automatically flew into Lu Shi's hand. The Pope's face changed. What he could not accept was that the Genesis Bible was fake. But you guys are really something. You made a fake look like the real thing. Even I was almost fooled. Is it because it's so fake that you all think it's real? But since you can make such a realistic Genesis Bible, you must have the real one. Where's the real one? Boom. With that, the Genesis Bible in Lu Shi's hand turned into dust. I'm also confused. If you knew where the real Genesis Bible was, You wouldn't have put up a fake, Lucy said calmly. The Genesis Bible is fake, but my Holy Grail can't be fake, right? Divine seal, Yulia shouted. The Holy Grail instantly shot into the sky and enlarged. In the blink of an eye, the Holy Grail turned into a huge vase dozens of meters tall. The vase's mouth was aimed at Lu Shi. Wang Lan now, without needing Yulia's reminder, Wang Lan instantly activated his only purple diamond Takashi Hoshi technique, Sky-Splitting Slash. Chapter 670. A surge of divine power rose from the top of Wang Lan's head, instantly forming a huge white axe blade above Wang Lan's head. The axe blade seemed to exist in the void, hidden in the water-moon mirror flower. The moment the axe blade appeared, heaven and earth froze, and the sky seemed to turn into crystal ice. The entire world froze in that instant. Shock appeared on Lucy's face, but time seemed to have frozen. The terrifying edge scattered wantonly, stinging Lucy's face. Wang Lan controlled the axe blade, and his astral power seemed to have been sucked away in an instant. Slash! Using all the strength in his body, Wang Lan viciously swung the axe blade. Lucy was still frozen in the void, unmoving. The axe blade fell and viciously chopped down on Lucy's head. Boom! The crystal shattered, and the frozen state of heaven and earth was broken. At that moment, Lucy was finally able to let out a tragic roar. Terrifying energy poured into Lucy's body, and countless heavenly laws turned into sharp blades that cut into Lucy's body. Boom! Like fireworks exploding in the sky, Lucy's body instantly turned into countless streaks of light that splashed in all directions. You want? He's dead? The bishops in the 12 underground palaces looked up at the void in disbelief. In the void, stars fell like rain, and the sky turned blue once more. The sun was still quietly hanging in the sky. Wang Lan panted heavily, and his astral power was severely overdrawn. Along with the rise and fall of his chest, cold sweat dripped down his temples. But in the next instant, Wang Lan's expression suddenly changed. Because the notification to kill Lucy did not sound in his mind, this meant that Lucy was very likely not dead. A gentle arm wrapped around Wang Lan's arm, and a fragrant wind blew. Jiang Xinyu appeared beside Wang Lan. How are you? Are you in pain? I'm fine. Wang Lan smiled bitterly and let out 2 hoarse words. We won. That's great. This demon is finally gone. The holy knights on the ground cheered loudly, but Wang Lan's heart was filled with uneasiness. In everyone's eyes, Wang Lan had killed Lu Shi with a single swing of his axe. Even in Wang Lan's eyes, Lu Shi had been beheaded and couldn't be more dead. However, the notification in his mind did not sound. Closing his eyes, he tried to sense the killing intent of heaven and earth, but there was still nothing. Could it be that the notification was delayed? Or is Lucy really not dead? The news of Lucy's death was instantly transmitted to all parts of the world through the internet. The leaders of various countries, the United Nations, and the International Security Council couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. This rock that had been hanging over everyone's heads for a year could finally be put down. Lucy seems to have been killed, but I have an ominous feeling in my heart. Chapter 671. Yulia, you were released from the Jade. No wonder you're a member of the Golden Tribe, Jiang Xinyu said in surprise. The Jade can reduce a person's metabolism to the lowest level. Back then, when the king of Jianshan was on the verge of death, he sealed himself in the Jade. After 600 years, he would be able to live another life. Yulia might be the last descendant of the Golden Tribe that was sealed in the Jade a long time ago. She might also be closely related to the divine religion. Perhaps you might be the real savior. What do those numbers represent? The Pope interrupted. I'm afraid no one knows for now. The numbers might seem messy, But the former pope seemed to have received some sort of guidance when he found the Creation Bible in the Vatican. This guidance didn't come earlier or later, but it came at that time. I guess it might be an opportunity. At this point, the pope's expression changed. The Genesis Bible. Why was the Creation Bible left by the pope a fake? The pope found the Bible of creation and used it to summon heaven. That can only mean one thing. This fake Creation Bible was made by the pope. The real Creation Bible was hidden by the pope, and the place where the real Creation Bible could be hidden. Wang Lan's gaze fell on the diary page again. This speculation wasn't without basis. The pope had always kept the appearance of the legendary church a secret. Why? The current Vatican was built by someone later. Although it was similar to the legendary church, it wasn't the original. Finding the original church, finding the Genesis Bible, in order to announce their orthodoxy, in order to inherit the legacy of the ancient divine religion, anyone would publicize this matter to the public and move the Vatican into the legendary Vatican. But the former pope didn't. He chose to hide it. Why? He must have found out some secrets. And now, he placed the fake Creation Bible in the Vatican. Where could the real Creation Bible be hidden? Wang Lan thought about it and came to the conclusion that it could only be the legendary Vatican. Let's go and look for this legendary Holy See. Maybe the former pope left some clues for us. The four of them left immediately and secretly followed the route recorded in the diary to the place where the pope found the space crack. The Rhine sacred river had been polluted by industry for a period of time. After a few generations of hard work, the Rhine sacred river had returned to its original clear and green state. The nation of God prohibited people from bathing in the Rhine sacred river. No one was allowed to touch the Rhine sacred river. But there were policies and countermeasures. The bathing water in the sacred river came from the Rhine sacred river. They used a pump to draw the sacred water from the river, so it wasn't against the Vatican's rules. At this moment, the two sides of the Rhine sacred river were filled with colorful flowers.